Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Welcome to Gas, Mass, and Hand Grenades. I am your host, Jeff, and this one's been coming for a little while here. It's kind of been on again, off again. We've been trying to put it together for a little while, but I got my buddy Logan over here, Metal and Beer. Is it beer? It's Metal and Beer Snob. I always forget because you have it backwards in other places, I think, don't you?
I'm sure I do. Call me whatever you want, you know.
Because I think on your Gmail, it's Beer and Metal Musings or something. So it's like
it's my old one from I used to be Drunken Metalhead Musings. Remember those days?
Okay.
So,
which I had, by the way. I did have your stuff. So, hey. Yeah, we're well aware. We're gonna touch on that, Oberheim. Yeah, for sure, man. We're definitely gonna talk about that. That was a bit of sad and shocking news this morning when I woke up. As many know, or many people that don't know, I have a pretty serious bunch of horrible illnesses that are kind of beating the shit out of me. And I tend to go to sleep late in the morning AM hours and sleep into the early afternoon. It seems like that's when my body's most at rest. And I didn't get up today till about 3:00. And there was a message from Logan saying, "Hey man, did you hear about Brent?" And the first thing that hit my mind was motorcycle accident. They just hit. It was like boom. It just absolutely hit me. But then I started thinking, well, you know, there's been a lot going on there in the Mastodon camp the last couple of months. A lot of animus and a lot of, you know, sad sort of back and forth stuff with him being left go from the band, I guess. Hey, Tim, what's up? What's up, Metal Kev? And I didn't know if maybe, you know, Brent's always had a history of kind of being a bit of a wild man, but I think he's gotten that under control the last 15 years or so like that. As far as drug use and all that kind of stuff like that, who knows though, you know, we never know with these people.
Even in the modern Mastodon, he was the wild card, you know.
Right. Yeah. The other guys were more the family dudes and the chill guys and the more, I guess, approachable dudes. But so sadly, last night it appears at 11:30 last night that Brent was killed in a collision with a BMW SUV, and apparently a woman did not yield. So whether that's going to be, you know, whether there was, who knows what happened there. 11:30 at night. It's a weird time to be out generally, unless you're out at a, you know, doing something, whatever. I'm not casting aspersions here. It's not super late. I go out late at night too, but I mean, you know, I don't go to the bars anymore very rarely because I'm kind of old and past that shit. But whether Brent was doing that or whether the woman was doing that, who knows? Brent might have been at band practice or something. Who knows? You know, I mean, he's got Fiend Without a Face, and what's the other one? The country one, or is that Fiend Without a Face?
That's the only one that I know, and that's Fiend Without a Face off the top of my head. Like he's not doing what he had the Seagull Men or whatever.
Oh,
okay. Like a super group, I think.
Well, I know he did the Brass Tongue Orchestra thing with Will from Ben from
Dillinger and
Will from Alice, yeah. And that's a good album if you never checked that out. It's actually quite a good album. It's pretty cool. But, you know, let's be honest. Brent's been in the news lately for throwing a lot of shade at his ex-members and calling names and shit. And Brent always did seem to be a hothead. And I have a lot of memories of Brent going to shows. I've seen Mastodon at least 6 or 7 times. The first time being on, I almost said Crystal Mountain because I always say Blood Mountain. I said it earlier today. I'm like, Crystal Mountain's awesome. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's not Crystal Mountain. But
great Indiana Jones film.
Yeah, right. Blood Mountain was the first tour I saw them on, oddly with BT Bam, which I didn't know who they were at the time. Yeah, I think they were doing maybe Colors at that point in time or something. But
that would have been around 2006, 2007.
Yeah. So that was the first time I saw them, and the last time I saw them was down in Philadelphia had a real big outdoor gig where it was in the parking lot of the Electric Factory, which is now called the Franklin Hall, which I've seen a lot of shows at too. And it was Russian Circles, Devin Townsend, the Eagles of Death Metal, which I'll get back to them in a second, Gojira, Opeth, and Mastodon. Pretty fucking killer, man. Hey, Rick, what's up, dude? Pretty killer bill on that one, man. And I think Masto was doing Emperor of Sand. Is that right? Would that be Steam Breather?
Yes, that would be.
That was the album they were doing. Opeth was doing. Ugh.
Oh man, would that have been in Kata Venenum or
Nah,
whatever?
it was for that. What was the one before that? Oh, Sorceress, maybe.
So
Maybe
you're the Opeth guy around
it
these
was
parts. I'm
Sorceress.
not.
It was Sorceress. It was Sorceress.
I'm not treading on that turf.
And Gojira was out with Magma.
Yep.
But the Eagles thing was weird because Brent came out and played a song, and I think they were on there because Brent's good buddies with the singer. I forget his name, the Rev guy or whatever his name is. I forget his name off the top of my head. And he came out and played a song, and the whole time, dude, he was freaking out on his sound guy on the side, yelling, throwing shit at him.
Who Brent was?
Yeah, just very unhinged. Reminded me of times I've seen Ingve be a dick on stage. You know what I mean? It's just one of those deals. So I never met Brent. I've never met any of the Masto guys. I haven't even talked to them. Haven't had them on or anything. I probably could get them. Probably could get Braun anyways, fairly easily through connections. But maybe the next album we'll see. But yeah, it's sad, man. I mean, he's a young guy, 51. You know, he's almost a decade younger than me, and that's. When I see shit like that, it's like, wow, you know, maybe I don't have a reason to whine and moan and whine. I still think I do, and I still will. But so, how about your thoughts on him?
I mean, it's devastating, man. It's crushing. I've honestly respected and really liked Brent. Honestly, like, of course, there were those stories that I would hear similar to the one you just described. You know, of him kind of being tough to handle at times, but. I always thought he was a stellar musician and probably one of the more interesting influences to the Mastodon sound, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was always this secret, like, unique flavor in Mastodon that made them just stand out from other bands. And I always felt like it was Brent in a little bit. Like, his voice has always been a unique part of the band. It's got this, like,
nasal,
hard to replicate. Yeah, nasal.
Yeah.
You know, almost like a Aussie meets like a country slang kind of.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
It's a unique voice, and then I think musically he brings this like country aesthetic as well to their
the chicken
sound
picking
and
the
yeah,
hybrid picking. He was fantastic at. Not a lot of guys in metal do hybrid picking, you know, unless they're Tosin Abasi and guys like that. That kind of the muso guys. Brent, I think the one thing I always loved about Brent too was in Mastodon. His contributions, you know, songs like Divinations, Oblivion, they have the mystical sort of quality to them, man. And he always had very lyrical, great, scary, great guitar player, but not
his
like
guitar soloing.
Soloing was great. Yeah,
it does have that, like, it tells a story, like it seems like it goes somewhere and it builds, like
very
The
melodic.
guitar solo he plays on Oblivion, for example, is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah,
because of that.
That might be maybe one of my favorites. You know, all too long, I've been away so long. He's got that twangy country sort of thing going on with the nasal thing, not the navel, the nasal thing. Yeah, great tragedy, man. And you know, you wanted to see him land on his feet out of the Masto thing because it does sound like they parted ways with him. It sounds like
they did.
He put him in a spot where they just weren't getting along well enough to work together anymore. And you know, and you could tell on the last album, Hushed and Grim, he had 2 songs and that was it. And that was a double album. And it's like, whoa, that's always a tell when they were always writing a lot together that he was either checked out or they were checking him out on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna change.
I listened to that album earlier today just because I was like, let me, you know, rehear the last thing he was on, and you 100% were correct. Like you only heard that special Brent like feel on definitely the Beast and
Cyclops was one of the songs. I forget
uh-huh.
the other one. Yeah, I forget
The
the,
Beast
that's
was
it.
the main one I was
Or the
thinking
Beast.
of.
I'm sorry, that's it. Beast. Yeah.
There's definitely another one where, but and other than that, the rest of the album is a really great album. It's one of my
Oh, it
favorite
is. I love it.
Mastodon
I love
albums.
that album. Yeah, it's great.
But it does feel a bit more straightforward in a way, and less whimsical, which I think
Less
Brent was
weird.
always less weird.
Weird. There's a
Yeah,
weird factor that Brent always brought in with his songs that you're like, oh, these are weird, and then before you know it, they kind of become some of your favorite songs on the albums. That kind of deal. So, but anyway, so very tragic and sad. We've been losing people left, right, and center, and
it's been rough, man. Rough couple months.
it has, man. I mean, it's just been wow. Just and I will say it hits guys like me that are older than Brent even harder. I will say this: I've ridden on a motorcycle maybe a half dozen times in my life, if that. And I even wanted to get a Harley back in my early 30s. And my ex-wife was like, if you get a motorcycle, we're getting divorced. She knew I'd end up dead. And she's right. I absolutely would have ended up dead, whether by my own fault or a fault of someone else. I kind of early grasped the concept that they're dangerous. I was heading up the highway on Tuesday, and coming home from an eye appointment and doing about 65, which sounds slow because, well, I'm old, and two, my rear end is smashed the fuck in, and I've got it ratcheted down with ratchet straps. Drivable, but I don't want that trunk blowing wide open. And so I'm kind of careful about that. I don't travel too fast. And out of nowhere, dude, some fucking kid on a crotch rocket comes blowing by me, had to have been doing 90, 100 miles an hour. If somebody didn't see him coming up that lane and dipped out to go around somebody and missed him on this bike because he was all in black and it was getting dark, man, they would have taken him out and there would have been nothing left but, chunks, to be honest with you. And that to me, I don't get that stuff. So, not, if you ride a bike, more power to you, but not this kid. No thanks. No interest in it, So,
Yeah,
and this looks like it
I'm with you.
happened. This looks like it happened at an intersection. It doesn't look like I saw the picture of the accident. And it
Yeah,
does not look like an intersection where you should be going very fast. So I don't think he was hit very fast. He might have only been hit at like 35, 40, 45 mile an hour. And that's all she wrote if you get tangled under the undercarriage of the car. So very sad. Rip to Brent. You were a great one, dude.
yep.
So yeah.
I'll miss you, man. And it's kind of as you said, like it felt like he could have gone on. Like this was a big point for him right here. Just out of Mastodon, he could kind of write his own path, and
Oh yeah.
I've always rooted for him, always, and I was still
Yep.
rooting for him up
And
until
it should be
yesterday, I guess.
mentioned.
Unfortunately, so
It should
I
be
just wanted to see
mentioned.
what he would do.
Well, it should be mentioned that Brent was very good with a chainsaw and carving. I don't know if you ever saw any of the carvings he
His,
did out of trees. He made this
yeah.
giant penis one that was fucking like very lifelike. I'm like, damn,
Very
man,
lifelike.
that boy has studied some penises.
That
before,
boy
man.
ain't right.
That boy ain't right. But he was very into horror movies and stuff. Fiend Without a
Yes.
Face was he, or is that the one? Did we already say that one? We did say that one.
Yeah, but that's the brain film, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the killer brains from outer.
Yeah,
I don't remember if they're from outer space, but yeah.
All right, we're gonna transition from Atlanta to Seattle. We're gonna talk about 3 Seattle bands on episode 2 of 3 of an Imperfect Pair. And I've had people say, "Well, what's that all about? What's it all about?" There is no real all about it-ism. It's 3 albums that I felt, to be honest with you, it was an excuse for me to hang out with good friends that love music and talk about 3 cool albums. However, there is, in this particular batch, a tremendous thread that runs throughout all of them. And in the last one, there were threads as well. There was the Chris Cornell connection to Jeff Buckley and the Beck connection to Cornell. So they're in similar sounding albums that kind of had the same vibe. And you could kind of level that at this. There's the Seattle connection, obviously. There's the grunge connection, obviously, even though all these bands probably would hate to be called grunge, because it didn't exist when they existed. It came about as a way for music journalists to describe the scene is essentially what it was. And the other third part was drug addiction and drug death and drug sort of all that the heroin thing, the heroin chic thing that hung over Seattle back in those days. And I remember it very well because I was a young man at that point in time, Logan. I was in
Yeah,
my early to mid 20s when that was going on, even maybe your age, quite frankly. And 91, I'd have been, I'd have been 75,
were you born in
86, 96. So 96, almost when the last album that came out here, Amongst Our Three, right? That was the last one, was 96, right? That season?
95, I believe. But yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. Or is it 96?
95, you're right.
Okay.
I was almost 30 years old. I was 29, 30 years old. So I was already had a child, and I couldn't identify with the heroin thing because, quite frankly, I didn't know anyone that did heroin. None of my friends that were in the music circles did heroin. We smoked weed, and I came from the 80s, so I'm not gonna lie, I did coke a couple of times way back when, but I knew right away, fuck, that's not worth the money. Why am I wasting money on that? It was always booze and weed for us, so heavy opiate use and stuff like that was not something I knew anything about. And so when we find these things out later, with Lane's death, with Andy Wood's death, which this first album we're going to talk about is very much the impetus for this album was Andy Wood. And you want to hold up the album that you showed a minute ago there? So we got Mother Love Bone, which was the band that Andy was the front man for. And they were one of the early Seattle bands. And they included Stone Gossard and Mike McCready. Or no, not Mike McCready.
Not Mike McCready.
Jeff Ament.
Yes.
Jeff Ament. And who both those guys went on to then create Pearl Jam, which includes Mike McCready, and Mike McCready's all over Temple of the Dog. And obviously we have Matt Cameron and the God tier Chris Cornell. If you know my channel and you know me, you know that Chris Cornell probably my favorite vocalist of all time. And the other guy that we're going to talk about in the last album, probably my second favorite vocalist of all time. So, a lot of tie-ins here, and I don't know if you wanted to jump in there and talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah, I mean, you highlighted a couple of the ones for sure. I mean, really, this pick was a lot of low-hanging fruit. I didn't have to. We didn't have to jump that far to come up with these three albums. Where like connect a whole bunch of dots. But to me, there's just so many different connections, like down to just how all three of these albums are connected by the musicians that play on them. I mean, there's overlap between all three of them.
Yeah.
And to me, kind of the vibe is a connection too. Like they are of that grunge scene and style, but to me, they're not your big and loud and punk oriented or metal oriented kind of grunge album. There's a different, more of a laid back 70s kind of vibe to each one of these albums that I think really separated it. And it, for me as a listener, because I found Temple of the Dog and Mad Season pretty early on, like within my first year of listening to music, and I was coming into it as a Alice in Chains and a Soundgarden fan. It gave me a bit more food for thought there that I wasn't ready for. I was looking for big riffs like Them Bones and Spoon Man or something.
Slaves and Bulldozers.
Or,
fucking insanity like that. Yeah, and it's not like that at all.
Yeah, I didn't find it. Yeah, like so.
Has a lot more.
There was a bit more of
Zeppelin.
growth.
Has a lot more in common with Zeppelin. This album in particular has a lot more in common with Stevie Ray Vaughan, Zeppelin.
Big blues undertone.
A lot of blues undertone to a lot of this. Yeah.
And it made me. They all three challenged me as a listener who just wanted like angrier guitar riff oriented music.
Right.
I was like on the journey to getting into heavy metal and then extreme metal, and this was almost like an opposite, offshoot that I was really into because of the musicians that were in these bands, and of course because of Chris Cornell and Lane Staley. But these albums taught me to look for other things in music other than, oh, fat riff, big riff, he's angry and screaming, and it really made me step back and appreciate the atmosphere and the tone of the music, and really just deep sadness and hopelessness that was in the music still. Like, these albums are not happy albums,
You know,
they feel happy at times, but I think
I was going to say,
underneath it
I agree that, first of all, we should mention that, and you want to show that Temple of the Dog album. Obviously, I'll do some background here on it, but this album comes out April 16th, 1991. You got to show it?
Oh, are we ready to dive into
let's jump
Temple of the
into
Dog?
it. Yeah. Well, we're going to jump into this one, and each one will kind of talk about where we came into it when we get to the album.
Real quick about this, because
I
do feel like this is the beginning of this journey. Like, I think this is almost
absolutely.
Like
it actually should have been the third album. The more I think about it, maybe, but
I still prefer these three because
it doesn't sound as much as like those. There's a slight glammy element to Mother Love Bone that you don't have in any of these albums at all. And I don't mean glam like hair metal, more like sleazy glam, like
rock.
New York, more like New York Dolls or T-Rex or something like that. That kind of glam rock,
Yep. And I think Andy Wood was a big fan of that, like the 70s glam style. So I'm not as familiar with this album, and that's kind of why it just didn't come up when I was thinking of this. But yeah, I don't think it is the same mood, and it's because this was recorded before
all of them.
The sadness kind of crept into this sound.
Sure,
like this does not really feel like a sad album. There's like sad moments, but there's sleaze and triumph, and it's
but dude, it's
a bit more uplifting.
It's got fucking Crown of Thorns on it, which is one of the most badass songs ever, man. I mean, Andy was a star, man. Andy was a star before that band was ever a star. He was called the Stargazer, the Star Child. I mean, he was very flamboyant, very wildly over the top, and everybody loved him for that. And the tie-in becomes that when he overdoses on heroin,
before Apple even comes out.
Before Apple even comes out, correct. And so Mother Love Bone splits up. I mean, that's kind of the end of their band. They're in the process. Stone and Jeff are in the process. They get with Mike McCready, and I forget the drummer's name. Was it Dave Abruzzi's? I think it was Dave Abruzzi's. I'm talking about on
for Mother Love Bone.
Was he on Love Bone? No, I don't think he was. There was a guy named
Greg Gilmore on.
Yeah, there was the other guitar player was Bruce Fairburn or Fairborn.
Fairweather. Yeah.
What was it?
Bruce Fairweather.
Fairweather. That's it. Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to those guys, but no, they got with David Ruzzi's, and then they brought up Eddie Vedder, and they created Pearl Jam. But that was only forming while this album was being recorded, actually, interestingly. While Temple of the Dog was being recorded. Yeah. So I'll blow you up for a sec here everyone's probably seen it before. You got the vinyl.
I got the vinyl, yeah.
I'm going to have to go get that box set now, man. I didn't want to spend $140 on it, but now I'm kind of like, man, I got to own that album.
I mean, this is just the regular one. I don't know what else we got on the box set and stuff, but
you get a Blu-ray, you get the vinyl, you get two other CDs, so it's kind of a lot. Yeah, you get a lot. 5.1.
This one has an etching, which oh shit.
Oh, nice. So it's two albums, but 3 sides?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So this looks like them on a beach.
The
Pacific.
Tilt it a little bit towards the film. There, away a little bit more.
Better.
A little bit, yeah. You can see him walking on the beach.
Tough,
there you go. That's cool looking.
It's cool, yeah.
Speaking of that, before I forget though, we're going to take a side tangent for 1 sec. Look what I got in.
Ooh.
Look at this.
Show and tell. Let's see. Jeff's album of the year 2015.
That's right. I finally got the box set.
Best band of the past decade.
I love this fucking band. And this is a hard box set to find. Got a little bit of damage on it there. See that?
Gas Masks and Hand Grenades.
See the damage?
Sponsored by Tribulation. Oh, I do. Wait.
Was that
a used pickup?
Yeah. It was used. Okay. Got off Discogs. Got the insert here, the album, which is cool. It's on a matte finish. You have this on vinyl?
No, dude, just CD.
Okay.
I would pick
What's
that up
cool
on
about
vinyl in a heartbeat.
what's cool about this is it's got the 7-inch in it, and it's 3 sides on, and then the back is an etching too. But the bad thing is that it did not come with the signed print and numbered print. There's only 1,000 of those, and it also didn't come with the CD and the medallion. But I paid $65 for that, and when I got it, he didn't tell me about the damage to the front cover, and I'm like, dude, man, not cool. He's like, tell you what, I'll send you 40 back. I got that box set for $25.
Holy shit, he sent you.
Sent me 40. I didn't even ask for it. I was going to go halvers on him. He sent me 40 back. I'm like, all right, I'll do that. I'm good with that. So
Wow.
now I have the 7-inch with all the demos and all that stuff that you can only get on the album. And it's like, all right. So now I got all the box sets except for the Sub Rosa in Eternum, which I'm kind of hunting for that one now. So, all right. So we'll get to Temple Dog. It was an American band that formed in Seattle, Washington in 1990, conceived by vocalist Chris Cornell of Soundgarden as a tribute to his friend, the late Andy Wood, lead singer of the band's Malfunction and Mother Love Bone. The lineup included Stone Gossard on rhythm guitar, Jeff Ament on bass guitar, both ex-Mother Love Bone members, and future Pearl Jam members, Mike McCready, later Pearl Jam, on lead guitar, and Matt Cameron of Soundgarden and later Pearl Jam as well. And now he's out of Pearl Jam, apparently. He's left Pearl Jam, on drums. And then Eddie Vedder makes a guest appearance as a co-lead vocalist in backing vocals. Later, he becomes Pearl Jam's vocalist. Pearl Jam's debut was released 4 months after Temple of the Dog's only studio album. The band released its only album in April of 91 through A&M Records. Recording sessions took place in November, December of 1990 at London Bridge Studios, which I believe was Bad Animals, I think. It was the one that was owned by Heart, I think. I'm not sure. And produced by Rick Parisher. Although earning praise from musicians and critics at the time of its release, the album was not widely recognized until 92, when Vedder, Ament, Gossard, and McCready had their breakthrough with Pearl Jam, causing Temple of the Dog wait, what's that say? Hold on. Can't read my writing here. To be retroactively considered a supergroup. Cameron would later join Pearl Jam, serving as drummer from 98 to 25, following Soundgarden's initial breakup in 97, making the 5 members of Pearl Jam after that point identical to the members of Temple of the Dog, other than Chris Cornell. The band reformed and toured in 2016, which I have a story about, of course, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of their self-titled album. It was the only tour they ever actually undertook. They did play, I believe, 2 other dates, live dates, as in the initial form. But remember, all these guys had other bands. This was always kind of, sort of, in a lot of ways, I think it was always kind of determined to just be a one-off. I don't think it was ever.
That's what makes it special.
Yeah,
like, to me. Like,
so
he didn't even try not to be.
Yeah, exactly. And because really, you got to remember, in 91, Soundgarden was only just kind of taking off. They were about to put out Bad Motor Finger, which kind of jumped them into that next level. They had songs like Louder to Love. They had Loud Love. They had Hands All Over, which was kind of a minor MTV late night, alternative nation sort of hit, or 120 minutes hit. But they didn't really have like any big, they had FOP, the EP out, and they had, which I listened to a bit of that today. I kind of forgot how great Hunt You Down is, man.
Yeah,
I
have that one randomly.
Oh my God, I love that song.
It's a good one.
And then Ultra Mega Okay, but they were really kind of an underground Seattle band because Nirvana was the big band, the big alpha, and then Pearl Jam came along, and probably, to be honest with you, Soundgarden was the first of the bands, of the Seattle bands, to get a record contract, believe it or not. But they didn't blow up like Nirvana did with Teen Spirit after Bleach. Nirvana hit all the right buttons right at the right moment. And, I was there, the zeitgeist, it was crazy. Never was a big Nirvana guy, man. I own I own 2 Nirvana albums, Unplugged. I had
In Utero?
In Utero is the one I have. I don't even own Nevermind, and the first one. I I never got into them, and I still don't get into them that much. I don't know why. It's just a thing, you know. And I will say with Pearl Jam, I quit after the fifth album. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. Just I can't.
You went
Maybe I'm
farther than I
missing.
could.
Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know, but I don't feel I am. But for me, it was always Alice and Soundgarden. Those were the two bands. Those were, and I liked other bands like My Sister's Machine, which were kind of a knockoff band, and Tad had some good stuff. Saw them a couple times, you know. And I liked a little bit of Mudhoney and Green River, but they were a little more punky than I preferred, you know.
Yeah.
A little more sludgy or punky than I preferred. So
If you're a metalhead approaching the grunge scene, you basically highlighted the
the two
bands you
metal
want to
bands.
get into.
They're
You
the
know,
two
like
metal bands.
yeah. And it is weird. Most people I run into in the metal scene, Pearl Jam is 10. That's it. Sometimes it's I like verses.
I hung out till
But-
Vitology that I liked. I still like some songs on Verses and Vitology, but man, the next two was Yield the fourth album or the fifth one? The one with the avocado on the front, maybe too.
Oh, I think that was the fifth.
That's the self-titled, I think, maybe. It's terrible.
Yeah. See, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even. Yeah.
Not into
It's a
it.
different language to me.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get on to this because I'm yakking too much. So
that's why we're here, man.
recorded in April 16, or released on April 16th, 91, recorded November, December 1990. Only 15 days in the studio, 2 weeks in the studio to put this album together. London Bridge Studios in Seattle, A&M Records, Rick Parisher we talked about. So, yeah, this album is put together, initially comes together as a project from Cornell reaching out to buddies, Gossard, you know, ex-bandmates of Andrews, kind of to exercise the loss, you know, as a bit of a eulogy to Andy Wood. And he had two major songs, which are the first two songs on the album, Say Hello to Heaven and Reach Down. And then it kind of grew from there. The project sort of grew from there with the other contributions. Matt was, I believe, brought in last. And Eddie Vedder, I'll tell you a story about that when we get to the tracks here, came in sort of as an afterthought. He had flown up from San Diego to actually, he was in a band called Mookie Blaylock, I believe, and he came up to audition for this Pearl Jam thing that was starting to, this nebulous project that's coming together. And yeah, so let's let you talk about the album a little bit. We'll go back and forth instead of constant, you know, like, but I'll let you go first. Talk about what, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I already talked a little bit. To me, it's just a very unique album for grunge. I don't think there's anything like it. I mean, when I approach the grunge sound, I'm definitely looking for heavy, like borderline punk metal riffage with a guy very much, you know, Zeppelin screaming over it, and you know, it's more of a dynamic style. This one feels so much more laid back and reserved in its songwriting, and it definitely to me takes a lot of influence from the 70s, and not even like 70s rock. And this took, I mean, honestly, years and years to understand maybe where they were getting their influence. And you can either confirm nor deny if I'm right with this, but I hear a lot of like soul and gospel kind of influence
100%.
on Temple of the Dog and how they're writing songs.
Oh yeah,
like
Reach Down in particular. Fucking
Reach Down is a gospel
Call
song,
Me a Dog.
right?
Call Me a Dog, and the final track, you know, All Night Thing.
All Night Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even Say Hello to Heaven is like just more of a blues
very
rock song,
gospel blues song. Yeah.
And there's really only one or two like hard rock songs on here. And when I first heard this, I was looking for the hard rock kind of. So I had to grow with this album for a couple of years. Like for the longest time, I couldn't get past Call Me a Dog. That was
my god.
It would be too soft for me. I'd be like, man, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go listen to Spoon Man or something. I'm gonna go put on 4th of July and get, you know, that heavy guitar riff back, because when we get to Times of Trouble too, I'm like, oh, it's a slow start again, and then, you know, but then I took a step back and I came back a year or two later, and I definitely realized the purpose of this album is, as you already alluded to, it's a eulogy. It's a more of a celebration of life and an ode to Andy Woods. And I mean, there's definitely more to this album than just, you know, a tribute to him, because there's some really in-depth songs on here, like
Yeah.
Wooden Jesus and stuff. But the songs like Reach Down and Say Hello to Heaven are for sure tributes to Andy, and
As
it's
is Times of Trouble.
Times
Big,
of Trouble. Yeah.
big. Yeah.
And when I kind of clicked with that it's not meant to be a rocking album, it is really meant to be uh, a sad but happy. So I mean, like, this album does feel happy at times, or like, joyous, but
Absolutely.
the whole time there is still this like hopeless, sorrow there, that I think because they did lose a friend in Andy, and there's still the drug use, that reaper that is kind of over the whole Seattle scene. It's definitely still present on this album. And I think as soon as I like step back and realize that was more of the purpose of it, and it wasn't to play big guitar riffs and have awesome rock songs, it was to pay tribute to a friend. I really clicked with it, and now I love it because it really lets Chris Cornell do a lot of stuff he couldn't normally do with Soundgarden. Like, in
Well,
Soundgarden, you
he
would
could sing that gospely sort of thing, that more bluesy, which his
yeah.
voice is so amazing at. You say, "Call me a dog." I'm gonna wager a bet here that you say that you didn't vibe with it at first, but I'm gonna guess you pretty much like it now. I'm thinking, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I
his
love it. I
vocals on
love it
that
now. I love it. Yeah.
his vocals on that song are fucking astronomical. On this album in particular,
Cool.
I mean, and if you came into this album without knowing a few of the early Soundgarden songs, like Far Beyond the Wheel, or Beyond the Wheel, excuse me, not Far Beyond the Wheel, but Beyond the Wheel, or Hunted Down, or I'm trying to think of the one other really crazy, Tears to Forget, or not Tears to Forget. What's the Nothing to Say. You've got nothing to say. You've got. I can't even get close to his things. You know what I mean? But it's otherworldly on this album. He is fucking worldly, and it comes out before Bad Motor Finger, which comes out a few months later, where then you get to hear Chris Cornell at his almost
He's like unhinged metal god, kind of.
Nobody can touch him on that album, dude.
No.
Like fucking Slaves and Bulldozers, and What's in it for me, where he goes up and you're like, what in the hell? Or Jesus Christ Post, it's all right in this Jesus Christ Post. And his voice was at one gospel blues and then pure on fucking menacing shriek that was so under control. Very few guys had the power and control this guy has. He didn't have to resort to a falsetto voice to get a high scream, or a Jeff Tate type thing. Don't know diss on Jeff Tate, one of the OGs, but Chris had power and fucking grittiness in his high screams that very few people can do. And by the way, guys, I got rid of the troll, the guy that loves to come in here and talk about the fact that I'm not sick. William, if it's you, fuck your mother. Carry on. Sorry, bud.
Light suggestion. Yeah. No, I mean, the amount of space that Chris Cornell is allowed, because the songs themselves aren't overbearing with guitar riff and a fast drum pattern.
There's a lot of space.
Yeah, it's just honestly, Mike McCready, I think, gets a lot of the credit for that. Just he's such a blues player at heart, and he does the same thing. He does this twice.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that
later on. I don't want to spoil it too much, but
a lot of Hendrix,
but it's
a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, two of his favorite players, and he's real good. I think Mike McCready's one of those guys that you kind of look at and go, "Wow, I didn't know he could play that good," because he doesn't do it a lot in the confines of Pearl Jam. He's kind of hemmed in with what he can do.
That's the thing about blues players that I still struggle with a little bit. They keep so much to themselves in the pocket to like let loose in like a live environment, that on studio recordings it sounds so reserved, and like the guitar is like kind of buried in the music almost. Like I want the guitar to be as upfront.
Although
and
not Jimmy
aggressive
and
as
Stevie
possible,
though.
but
Those two
that's
guys on record are,
no,
you know,
yeah.
otherworldly guys. So
But he didn't have an
not at
ego in
all.
his guitar work. Mike McCready
And
did
in
not,
this
and
album,
that's
on this
a
album, he kind
compliment,
of does
honestly.
have an ego. It's kind of like he's pushing it out front. And I think the guys were like, hey, man, fucking let it rip, dude. Just go, you know? So
On
well,
tracks,
let's talk about
dude,
tracks.
yeah.
We'll go back and forth on this. Say Hello to Heaven, which is an open letter to Andy Wood from Chris. Heartbreaking and beautiful as a eulogy to a fallen friend, brother, and a banger way to open an album. I was going to try to remember some of the riffs on here, and I kind of do some of them because I learned them 30 years, 25 years ago. And I don't recall them now. But that opening riff is such a banger of a riff, man. It's so good. And what's super cool is most of this song, or a good half of it anyways, is using seventh chords. We're going to talk a lot about seventh chords in the next album, but this song in particular, a lot of seventh chords, which you don't typically hear on a metal album or a grunge album. You know, Jerry's not a big seventh guy. Occasionally you hear one a little bit on like Man in the Box or something like that. But yeah, great fucking song. Amazing lyrics. And you get Chris as he develops. It starts very, you know, new like a baby, da, 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 da. And then the long-winded curses, and then he gets into the came from an island, and he, you know, died from the streets, and he goes, and he heard something like a soul raging, and then he goes way up, like, but he didn't say nothing to me. It's just like you're like, what?
Yeah.
I will tell you that sadly, back in the day when I did stupid shit like drink and drive, don't do it, kids. It's fucking very, very damaging. Can kill people. And I got lucky way too many times, probably. But this album would go in the CD player, and I'd be screaming like Chris Cornell, or at least in my head, I was screaming like Chris Cornell. I used to be able to hit some of those highs. I can't do it anymore at 60 almost. So, but yeah, great banger of a track. Your take on this one? Great track, right?
Perfect opening song, and as I said, it just kind of feels like a blues track that is just escalated to that next level because of Chris Cornell's performance on here, which, I mean, you summarized perfectly, and I love how he's able to play with the delivery as much as he does, you know. So
yeah,
but great guitar solo again by McCready towards the end.
Awesome, very bluesy guitar solo, very, very evocative, very, very killer. What about Reach Down? Go ahead.
Oh, dude. Reach Down. What a long, epic track, man.
Yeah.
And it just really unfolds beautifully. And when I first heard this, you know, at age 16, yeah, I mean, it's not like a metal song, but I was blown away just because it's such a unique track. There's no other track out there like it that is simultaneously is led by a guitar riff in the beginning. But then But then it unfolds into this like gospel style chorus.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna reach down and pick
I'm gonna reach down and pick the crowd up.
And it just builds and builds and
into that solo. It's
guitar solo,
4-minute solo.
It's just beautiful. It just keeps going, and you're hooked on every single note. And he makes it tell a sorrowful story. It sounds like
Mike really comes out on this track, and it reminds me a little bit kind of Yellow Ledbetter. There's some vibe there, similarities, because Mike's typically a Strat guy. He typically goes with Strats, and you get a different vibe with those single coil pickups on solos than you do on a Les Paul or a double humbucker, you know, on a humbucker type guitar. And absolutely fucking killer, man. Trying to keep up with comments, guys. Just bear with me. Yeah, next song,
dude. I mean, it's the overplayed one.
It's the hit. It's the.
I still like it, man. I love
this
song.
I'll never get sick of this song. I love the little riff at the beginning, which Chris wrote on an acoustic, and you know, I mean, I could grab the guitar. Maybe I will at the end, but this is one I still remember pretty well, and it's just such a cool little track. The way it kicks in, and then we get the duet. We get Chris on the highs mostly, and we get Eddie doing this sort of lower, more throaty. I don't mind stealing bread from the miles of decadence, but I can't feed on the powerless.
So the Pearl Jam thing was already happening when this
It was already
recorded.
happening. He was in
because there was
he was in-
always like talks that this spauned Pearl Jam because of this album.
No,
but it's
no,
kinda
no, no. That was already
going
happening.
on.
No.
Okay.
He had come up to audition already. I believe he was already basically in the band. So Pearl Jam was already happening for the most part. And probably I think went in the studio right around this time because they came out with
You're right, in a couple
10
months.
fairly quickly after this. So but yeah, I did want to say on Reach Down, man. When Chris hits those, and I'm not even going to embarrass myself by trying to pick the crowd up. You know, when he goes way up, I can't hit it with his tone. But he goes so fucking high at one point, you know, that, again, it's like if you'd never heard of Chris Cornell before this, you'd have been like, what the fuck?
It just
Who is
it blows
this
you
guy?
away no matter what you're looking for from music. If you enjoy music, you will be impressed by this song.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking, you know, a lot of people compare him a lot to Robert Plant. And I think there is a similar aesthetic there, but I think honestly, his voice was more powerful than Plant's.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I love Robert Plant and I love Old Zeppelin. I don't listen to it much anymore, but I still do. But I really appreciate what Plant was able to do. But I think Chris was a far better singer, quite frankly, you know. But Hunger Strike, man, I mean, you get that, you know, really cool lyrics to this one that maybe don't make a lot of overall sense unless you really kind of put yourself into them. And, you know, when he's bringing up, you know, the slaves are working, the slaves are choking. No, they're working. And then it's, you know, and the blood is on the table. The mouths are choking. I'm going hungry. And then that's, you know, Eddie's doing that. And then you got Chris coming over top going, I'm going hungry. Hey! You know, the best I can do. I won't torture you guys all night. Yes, I will. I'm going to torture you all fucking episode. Psych. But anyways, this is, from what I found, this is the first vocal performance of Eddie's on a major label record before Pearl Jam were a solid thing and signed. He may have had stuff with Mookie Blaylock that were like an independent or something. I didn't go searching that deep, but this is kind of the first appearance of Eddie Vedder as we come to know him shortly after this. Some people probably are sad about that. Again, I still think the 10 record is a good record, and Versus and Vitology. I dig those records. They're good.
He's a good vocalist. He just invented the Jarl, you know, like
the Jarl. That's
a better
which Chris did not have the Jarl.
No,
Lane had a little bit of Jarl. Lane has a little Jarl in him, but Eddie's got the Jarl of Jarls for sure, you know. But,
the stereotypical
the
Nickelback Jarl came from him.
Anything on Hunger Strike for you?
I mean, even though it's overplayed, I still love it. It's just one of those songs I think hasn't gotten old, and I think it's impressive. Like, these songs were still all over the radio when I was getting back into music in 2009. They were still all over popular radio, which I think is impressive for just a one album band, you know. And there we got the guitar.
Yeah, it's I was just gonna do the, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's out of tune. I'm going to have to tune it in between, but the bottom three are out of tune.
That little breakdown section or that little after part.
It's so good, man.
It's like actually a good riff. Yeah.
It's so good. Right down, and he climbs up and he's doing, you know, oh, I don't mind. I don't mind. You know, where he goes up super high. So good, man. I used to love singing. That was probably my favorite song to sing on the album. Because I would try to get those Cornell highs, and you know, when I was drunk and probably smoking back in those days to some extent, it'd be like, oh man, I got it that time, and then later I'd be like, oh man, I fucked it up really bad that time, you know. So
did you ever go like, well, I'm just gonna sing Eddie's part this time?
I can do the Eddie, yeah.
That's the easier one.
That's the easier part by far. Yeah. All right, pushing forward. You really love this song, so go.
This is my favorite song on the album, just because it's like the first one that kind of. Well, I connected with the other two, but this is what I was looking for back in the day. This is the kind of rock song.
The heavy rocker, yeah.
And it just immediately clicked, and it's got this infectious energy. The chorus is just a very unique, like,
That's great.
Chris just owns it. It's like a hook after a hook.
I was pushing forwards back. I was pushing.
See,
So killer.
I'm not even gonna dare to try. Like,
It's so
I
killer,
want
man.
to, but it's
Go
like, man,
for
I
it.
don't even
Nobody
know.
gives a shit. I get
No,
made fun of all the time on here for that, so who cares? But
Like, you actually sound like it. I'm thinking,
I can hit some of those notes a little bit. Yeah.
Fuck, it would not sound close.
This
if
one
I
also
tried.
has a bit of an MC5 vibe to it. Kind of
It-
an old fucking 70s hard, heavy hitting rock song.
To me, it has the bite of a rock song. Like, this is what I wanted, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, let me sink my teeth into this. I used to just play this song over and over and over again.
Really?
Back in the day. Yeah, this was my driving around, like,
jam
windows
song.
down. I mean, I was in like high school, so I wasn't drinking or nothing, but it was, this was my jam.
I love the breakdown. I love the breakdown section near the end where they do the down but down. That's such a killer.
The riff work was very impressive too. Like, it had like the start stop kind of riff.
Staccato. It's got a staccato sort of thing going on. Yeah. Chris is screaming where he's doing the drown, and they're doing the solos over that part there. The down, down. Yeah, it's so cool, man. Nasty track, man. You're gonna hear that one tonight. We're gonna play that one. Call Me a Dog, kind of quite mellow at first. It starts out with just mostly piano, which was done by Rick Parisher. Kind of a power ballad, really. It
really is. And I was always good with this song. I know I made it seem like I didn't like the ballads.
Yeah, you're being melodramatic.
I was always enjoyed this one because I was like, we just heard the rock song on the album, so it makes sense we can do a ballad. I'll let this one slide. And then, I mean, it clicked with me easily. It just sounds so sorrowful and also dramatic.
I think this points out a real cool point about this album. And actually, at least this album and the last album, not so much the middle album, which there is some similarities between the songs, but on this album and the last album, almost every song is significantly different from the song before it. There's no continuity of like, okay, it sounds, for example, I'm not dogging on death metal or black metal, but let's be honest, most black metal albums, hard to tell the difference between songs on a lot of standard black metal and death metal albums. It's like, is that track or was it that track? This album is super varied throughout. Every song's very different from the other one before it. Which is a common trait of 70s albums and 70s bands. They just didn't write the same fucking song and change the lyrics and a few chords here and there. They made new unique tracks to themselves, right?
Yep. And that was just something I wasn't quite familiar with, just how different everything sounded from each other. Like there really is not that core sound. I mean, I think the core is like the bluesy backbone,
right?
But
the gospel blues
vibe, but they take
it in
so many different directions. And Times of Trouble, I feel like, kind of continues it, but it grows it at the same time.
Well, real quick on "Call Me a Dog." I love this track, and I struggle with not being my track to play. It might actually be my second favorite track on the album. The reason is it's very got when he goes, some of Chris's best vocals are on this fucking song. They're just absolutely mind-bending. When he does that line where he sings, "If you keep me on a leash and if you keep me on," I'm trying to remember how it goes. "Keep me on a leash and you drag me along." I can't go up to where he's going, but he goes, "Oh, but it's my time to throw the next stone. I call you beautiful if I call it a home." And this one's tough for me to sing without hearing it because I'm trying to get the melody right in my head. I'm a little low there.
Yeah, like I can't think of the melodies off the top of my head for it.
But he reached the stratosphere on that line alone, man. "Drag me along." He just goes so high, it's crazy. I love this song. I love it. There's a lot of complex chord changes in it, which, by the way, if you saw my first episode of this series with Morning Euphoria, that album is very complex from a writing standpoint. There's just, you're not talking A, B, G, D chords, man, not cowboy chords. He uses lots of sevenths, lots of augmented chords, lots of suspended chords. Chris was a fucking phenomenal songwriter beyond being a phenomenal singer or otherworldly singer. He was also a goddamn fucking killer guitar player and a drummer as well. So kind of the perfect storm of musician he was on that. So that's, it's a banger for me. And then we get to Times of Trouble. It's my favorite song on the album, man. And it's a Gossard track. This is a Stone Gossard song. It's dark. The lyrics are harsh but beautiful. The Grim Reaper is creeping around big time in this song. You just see it. You see it in the imagery. Chris's vocals might be one of his best ever in his career on this, which is saying something. It's heavy yet delicate at the same time. I love the piano touches in this album. And then we get a fucking banger of a harmonica solo from Chris Cornell. And it just sets the track off so much, man. It's just like, wow, that is so killer, The part, I just want to read the lyrics a little bit quick here. When the spoon is hot and the needle sharp and you drift away, I can hear you say that the world in black is upon your back and your body shakes, so you ditch away. Yeah, you close the shades. Don't try to do it. Don't try to kill your time. Yeah, you might do it. Then you can't change your mind. Think about those lyrics. In other words, you might do it one more time and you might not come back. And that's what happened. And you've got to hold on to your time till you break through these times of trouble. When you try to talk and the words get hard and they put you down, don't you stay. Don't ditch away. I saw you swinging your mother's sword. I know you're playing. Sometimes the rules get hard. But if somebody left you, this part right here is the best part ever. But if somebody left you out on a ledge, if somebody pushed you over the edge, you've got to hold on to your time and break through these times of trouble. Man, dude, and just so fucking amazing, man. Just lyrically, that's another facet of Chris that a lot of people don't really talk about, but he was, in my opinion, a genius lyricist a lot of the time as well, too. And I mean, this song is just so good. That harmonica solo. Go ahead, talk about this track.
I mean, this is actually the one where when I first listened to this album, I couldn't get past it because I thought it was like two ballads in a row. We can't do this. I'm sorry, it's breaking my rock and roll brain.
Cred.
But then I come back to it, and I mean, you just saying out the lyrics just cements how good of a track this is. It has a swampy blues vibe to it because of the harmonica and just like the slow start and feel of it. But then it builds, and that's the thing about this song is it start out as a slow ballad, but then it really ends as a powerful kind of rock song. And just that whole part where he's singing about pushing you over the edge and on a ledge and stuff. You got to listen to it. Like I can't do it service just talking about it. You got to hear how he builds up to that part, and it'll give you chills for sure. It's a great song. It's probably my fourth favorite on the album, I think.
You just touched on it, Logan. It is a builder track. It's a slow growing sort of thing, and you really have to like give it a little time to percolate a little bit and kind of settle in. It's a dark track, man, but so beautiful.
It really is a dark song, and I think I didn't realize how dark it was even until you just read the lyrics just now. Like I didn't hear the spoon. I haven't heard the spoon part before.
The needle and the spoon.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that's what he was singing. So,
and I mean, Chris had some issues with that himself very early on, which I don't think people knew, that he was doing heroin. I don't know if he was shooting up. I don't think he was. I think he was just smoking or snorting. But I mean, being around it, probably as a young guy, he had that sort of thing going on. But yeah, man, just fucking amazing. All right, your Savior, go. Great track.
Oh, dude, is the track listing different? I got Wooden Jesus up next.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh shit.
Which I just don't
I
want to
missed
skip.
Wooden-
I don't
I
want to
missed
skip
Wooden
Wooden
Jesus.
Jesus, man. Because
I missed Wooden Jesus. I'm sorry. I missed noting it. Great track. Amazing track. Go for it.
Phenomenal. Probably the track that's grown on me the most over the years, just because, once again, it starts out a little like, it's not a rock song. It's not like a hard rocking song. It is, but the purpose of it is the lyrics. And lyrically, this is my favorite lyrical content on the album, I think. Just
very condemning of religion and modern kind of bullshit consumerism. Wooden Jesus, where are you from? Maybe what is it? Maybe Korea or maybe Taiwan, but I didn't know until what's the words?
I didn't know it was the Holy Land, but I believe from the minute the check left my hand.
Yeah, it's so good. And those cool chords, down, out. They're little augmented chords where he's doing their almost bluesy chords, and I'll cut you in.
It just touches on so many different aspects of the toxic nature of organized religion.
1,000%, yeah.
Churches making money, and then also
I'll cut you in
colonizing and like.
One of the greatest lines in there is, "I'll cut you in on 20% of my future sin." Man, what a line! What a banger of a fucking line, dude.
That's my favorite one on it.
So good.
I want to highlight Porcelain Mary, Her Majesty's Pure, looking for virgin territory. I always like that line as well. Coat hanger halos don't come cheap. From television shepherds with living room sheep.
Yep. It's so good, man. And
to me, lyrically,
and actually in the early part of it, there's a breakdown there into the second verse where somebody's playing banjo. I think it was Chris, and it sounds like a fucking country picker song almost, sort of, kind of, But then when he goes into the heavier part, I'll cut you in, it down, out, down, out, down, out, down. It's such a clever song. Again, Chris songwriting off the charts there. So, so let's see.
And then Your Savior now.
Your Savior, yeah. Great. Almost a funky track. It's got a groove to it.
This harkens back to the vibe from Pushing Forward Back to me.
Yes.
That's why I like this song, because it has that riff is also that start-stop kind of.
Right, the staccato.
Vibe, the staccato, yeah.
Yep.
And it brings the guitar riff is what brings you in, and then Chris does the vocal delivery a bit differently here. He's a bit more in the lower register. He doesn't, I don't feel like, go as soaring.
He doesn't scream much.
He keeps a little bit closer to the chest, and it's just another cool change up of vibe. And
if I'm not incorrect, I think this one was a Gossard. Like they all wrote this together. Am I right about that, or am I wrong?
I can neither confirm nor deny. I don't know if it says.
If you look at the credits, it should say.
It says music and lyrics Cornell. So.
Okay, then he did do that one. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. A lot of this album, but not all, is in drop D, which was kind of what Chris was writing in a lot at that point in time. That was the big.
This one sounds drop D. For
sure.
Huh?
It is.
This sounds drop D as well.
Yeah, it's again the same. I can't do it without a pick. But I can't do that without a pick. You got to have a pick for that. So, but yeah, that's a killer track and very clever from a guitar standpoint. There's a lot of non-traditional sort of things going on with it, with that. So, my favorite part of the song is the end of the song where they go into the chords, where he does "Don't give me." Whisper, hide your face. Cry, don't hide your faith. And he's got those washy, almost like dreamy chords at the end where he's singing over these washy sort of chords. And it ends is so cool, man. Again.
Yeah, it does. It gets more atmospheric towards the end.
Much more atmospheric. Yeah. Four-walled world. You talk about bluesy. This is probably the most bluesiest track on the album. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is still where it starts to lose me a little bit with getting too bluesy and like ballad. Like I still enjoy both of these upcoming tracks, Four Walled World and All Night Thing, but they blend in a little bit still for me.
Just
Man, I think
being honest. I still like this one, and I mean, and the other one as well. But I still partially feel like I'm digesting it somehow, which I don't know how that's possible. Like 15 years
after all these years later,
after all these years, but I think that's just
Yeah.
how music works. You know,
it could be.
It takes years and decades sometimes
Could be.
to click with a song.
But yeah, you give me your take. Maybe hearing
I
you
love
will.
blues and I love slide playing and I love so this is killer to me. I love this song. Another Gossard track. So Gossard was definitely in his blues at this point in time. I think the reason I love this, it's very down tempo until the chorus when he gets in my full world, I'm doing it wrong. It's in my full world, in my full walled world. I can't hear the melody because I'm confusing some of the other ones. But and I can't hit the same note that he's at. But I think his vocals on this song are otherworldly. Especially this song might have the highest screams on it towards the end when he's doing that. When he's going way up for that super stratospheric four-walled world.
The ending is epic, and this is another one of those songs where it starts and where it ends are entirely different places, and it's because it builds. And you just got to be along for the journey, and like,
I don't know who's playing the slide. I want to.
Closing is awesome.
I speculate that Mike is playing the slide, but I'm not entirely sure. But again, this song is mostly a mind blower song of Chris Cornell. He's just amazing. And then it ends on kind of a weird, almost whimsical pop song in a weird way. It's very poppy. It's just Rick Parisher, Chris, and Matt. Matt's doing a sort of a, almost like a shuffled drum beat, like almost a jazz drum beat in a weird way.
This song
is keys and Chris, and that's it. And it's an odd closer because it's kind of Chris singing about love and getting maybe a little piece of something. Maybe I think that's kind of what he's alluding to. Maybe you think. I mean,
it's an all-night thing. What are we doing here, Chris?
Come on, Chris. What's going on there, bro? I'm sure Chris did not lack for female attention throughout.
Right?
A 10. Well, he's a good look. I'm not gay, but if I was gay, I would say Chris Cornell is a fucking hot looking dude, man. I'm just gonna say it right there, point blank. Well, he was. Unfortunately, he's no longer. But I would probably trade a limb to look like Chris Cornell just for a couple weeks. Just a couple weeks. That's all. I don't care. It doesn't have to be forever. But
you'd have a couple of those all night things.
I would hope. Right? One would hope. Yeah. No disrespect to any of the ladies that might be watching, but it is human nature. But I imagine this one still. You said it's a little tough for you. You kind of fade out by this time.
A little. I mean, this one I'm more okay with. Just it's the closer, and I kind of respect. You can do what you want a little bit more with the closer. You have that, I think, freedom to send the listener off on a more relaxed note, especially when the album is the vibe that is Temple of the Dog. This definitely makes me think of like a 70s soul song. Like I hear a little Otis Redding actually in the song. Kind of feels. And I'm not very well versed in the 70s soul or gospel, and Otis Redding is probably the deepest I can pull from, truthfully. But that's just what makes me think of, because Otis had a lot of songs about searching for love,
I mean, you're right. It's
all night things.
It's a very playful song, and it's probably the only real happy.
It's a different vibe.
Song. Yeah, it's like an up song compared to the rest of it, but. This is a 10 out of 10 perfect album for me, man. I've loved it since the minute I got it. I come from this era, whereas you were a young kid or a teenage kid when this came out. I was already a man that was already 30 almost when this came out. And I even had my first kid, right? So were you a teenager? No, you were probably a preteen, right?
I wasn't even born when this thing came out.
Wait, when were you born?
93.
Holy fucking A, dude. I totally forgot you were. Man, I totally forgot. Okay, so you weren't even born.
How I was taught. I first discovered this album when I was 16. That was when I first heard it.
That's
what
it was.
It was one of those first early ones.
I got it immediately when it came out because I knew all the players that were involved in it fairly quickly. And I was like, well, I love Soundgarden. I like Pearl Jam by this time. I probably got it like right around the time the Pearl Jam album came out, probably. So. Again, 10 out of 10 album for me. It's a masterpiece. It's intense and sad, yet uplifting at the same time, full of killer songcraft and stunning individual performances, especially Mike McCready and Chris Cornell. Just unreal. So All right, we'll move on to Screaming Trees, Sweet Oblivion, which comes out September 8th, 1992. Recorded in March of 92, and this came out on Epic, and Don Fleming was the producer. And Rick mentioned something that I don't think we pointed out directly, but indirectly we did, that all three lead singers of these three bands are gone.
That was another one of the thematic things.
Another thematic sort of thing.
That tied them all together.
But Sweet Oblivion is the sixth studio album by Screaming Trees, released in September 8th, 92. It quickly became the band's best-selling record. Was the closest they ever came to achieving mainstream success. Sweet Oblivion sold in excess of 300,000 copies on the strength of the band's biggest hit, Nearly Lost You. The song benefited from an appearance in the Singles motion picture. I think that was the song that was in it, which is great. If you don't know the Singles, the movie, you should see it. But if you don't have the actual CD, you're missing out on some great stuff like Soundgarden's Birth Ritual. What a song that is. Oh, my God. One of my top three favorite Soundgarden songs. There's also Alice is on there doing, is it Love, Hate, Love?
Either that one or like Bleed the Freak, maybe.
Or Bleed, it might be Bleed the Freak.
It's one of the ones off of
Facelift.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, the band's original, around the time of the recording of the original release.
I'll be right back while you're going on.
Yeah. The musical, where was that? Recording of the album, the band's original drummer, Mark Pickerel, left to pursue other musical interests and was replaced by Barrett Martin, who's fantastic, by the way. Nearly 4 years passed in between Sweet Oblivion and the band's follow-up, Dust, a move that hurt much of the commercial momentum of the band. And, of course, the lead singer would be, I believe the band consisted of Van Connors and I'm forgetting the other guy's name. I don't have it here. The Connors brothers on bass and guitar, drums Barrett Martin, and then the vocalist was Mark Lanigan. Mark is often thought of in the same sort of circles, or he doesn't sound like Cornell or even Lane, but he's got some similar vibes to them on his lower register. So we'll jump into this album soon as he pops back. Just real quick, so no, yeah, they did come out after. Kev, Temple of the Dog came out in 91. Soundgarden already had Ultra Mega OK and Loud Love out before that, plus the FOP EP. Yeah, and so that's that. And then what do you say about Pearl Jam? Pearl Jam's album didn't come out till 4 months after Temple of the Dog. Okay. Let's see. There's a Jarl that I can stand to never hear again. Let's see what we got here. Got to bounce. I'll see you, James. All right. Hold on.
And apparently, It Ain't Like That was the Alice in Chains.
It Ain't Like That. That's it. Yeah.
But Wood also made an appearance.
So. That's right. Wood's on there too. Yep. All right, we'll come back. We'll come back to this in a minute here. We'll come back to this stuff. So let's see. All right, so we're on to. I gave the rundown on Sweet Oblivion, and there was a lot of tie-ins with Temple and with Mad Season because they lost their singer in 2022, Mark Lanigan. I believe it was 2022. Not really certain. There was never a cause given, but he was a smoker, heavy smoker. Could have been cancer, maybe. Could have been a heart attack. Who knows? I know that Mark dealt with drug addiction a lot of his life, but I thought he was clean the last several years. But who knows? You never know. Yeah. I mean, that's one of those difficult things. I was a drug addict for a while and then was clean for quite a while and then went back to it, and then it almost killed me. So, and here I am. But so for me, this band actually, I came into them with Uncle Anesthesia, which is the album that preceded it, and I think that came out in 89 or 90, somewhere in that range.
It was 91. I only know that because I was looking literally
91. An hour ago, so. The same time as
Temple of the Dog. Yeah.
Temple of the Dog, yeah. And I bought it simply for the fucking artwork on the cover because it's so weird looking. It's so cool looking. Which I'll pull
Alice
up.
in Wonderland goes crazy.
Very Alice in Wonderlandy, yeah. But I'll show that real quick here.
Oh, God damn it, Jeff. We forgot. I don't know when you wanted to play the music, but
oh shit! Shit.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, I had one job.
I had one job.
All right, we'll do that here in 1 sec here. Hold
yeah,
on,
okay.
We'll do that. All right. I just wanted to show the cover art. Oh shit, that's not it. Nope. Because this artwork is so fucking cool, man. I love this. I just was so intrigued by this artwork that I'm like, I gotta buy this band. And I dug it.
Did you hear the music first, or was it kind of
No? I just dug that artwork, and
cool.
I was in a store that had a you could pick up the CD case. The CD wasn't in it, and you could go ask for the CD to be played. And he gave it to me, and they had little headsets with the little portable players. I stuck it in. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting this, man. This is cool shit. So, but yeah, that was how I came into the band. But okay, so we're gonna do 2 tracks off of Temple of the Dog real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll get into this album. So, Logan, you want to mute yourself? And when I come back on after the second song, then you can pop back in, all right?
Walmart Plus. It's the membership that saves you time plus money. With benefits like video streaming.
Nothing like playing the music make you want to talk about it all over again, right?
Hang on a sec. Let me get it. Only problem with this, I haven't figured out a workaround is echo cancellation, because when you talk, when I have echo cancellation off, which gets all the stuff in the background out. Yeah, dude, I don't know how you can't listen to that song and be like, holy fucking shit, man. Like, I hadn't listened to this album in quite a long time after, in a way, kind of burning myself out on it many years ago. But that doesn't mean I haven't picked it up here and there. And I forgot to tell my quick story. Got to make it quick because I know we're running out of time for you. But when they did form on the 25th anniversary in 2016, when they reformed, and they put out the box set and blah, 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 they came to Philly and did 2 shows. And I tried to get fucking tickets. This is when online ticketing was starting to be the big thing. And it also was when online resale ticketing was started to be a big thing. The resale bullshit started. And because of the resale ticketing, man, you couldn't touch a fucking ticket for this back in 16 for under like $200. I was like, come on, man, that's insane. I think if I'd have looked a little harder, I would have maybe been able to come up with something. And now, looking back on what happened a year later with Chris, leaving us, committing suicide or whatever happened there, we may never know fully. But I think I'd have paid $200 to go see this reunion. I wish I would have now, but I didn't. And one of those huge concert regrets to this day that I didn't do it. So anyway, two amazing songs right there in a row. So let's get on to Sweet Oblivion here. We'll kind of breeze through this a little quicker, I think, because while I love all these albums, it's probably my least favorite of the 3 overall.
Agreed.
Same, yeah. Because it's a little bit more samey than these other 2 albums that we got to get to. So, all right, we talked about all that stuff. We'll start out with Shadow. Hold on. Shadow of the Season. Great opener, man. Love the droning, garagey riffs that they do on this. Lots and lots of 7th chords. That is Van Connors. I believe it was Van was a guitar player. He was big on what was the other guy's name? It was Van Connor and L. What was L? Larry?
The bigger guy, right?
Well, they're both pretty big dudes.
Oh, they are? Okay.
They're both big guys.
They got the crowbar vibe going on.
A little bit. Actually, meeting Kirk, I'm glad you brought that up. Kirk's
lost some weight, dude. He's lost
a lot of weight.
He's been working out too.
He looks great. I was the fat guy in our video that we did, which I'm working on, guys. I'll have that out soon, I hope.
Gary Lee Connor and
Gary Lee Van.
And I guess Van. They're brothers, huh?
And which one was which? Van was a guitar player, right?
Van was bassist. Gary Lee
he's bass. Okay, so Gary Lee. Gary Lee loves his 7th chords, man. He loves chords like this, Can you hear that?
Yes. That automatically sounds like a couple different things.
I don't have a pick on me, so it's kind of... No, that's not it. Yeah, so that's the chords that nearly lost you there, right there. The guitar is slightly out of tune because my temperature in my room goes up and down a lot. But yeah, a lot of 7th chords. They're used on here. I love Lanigan's got that seductive Marlboro rasp, man, where he's smoked 42 cigarettes before he goes in, probably drank a little bit of Jack.
He has like the opposite vocal effect that Chris Cornell and Lane Staley do,
Yeah. Well,
they sound like
Lane's in the middle of these 2 guys for me, but I think
Lane still has this like ethereal, like atmospheric vibe,
high range, high range, yeah.
Mark Lanigan, man, he just sounds of the earth, like a grounded sound.
Great way to put it,
and very approachable, and definitely Marlboro Reds for sure.
But this song is a weird kind of mix of Sweet Oblivion. He does that bit, and then it's kind of reminds me of like REM guitar on meth and steroids. A little bit of meth in there, a little bit of steroids in there, and you get the sound of Gary Lee. And interesting, we noted this before, but we were talking about Brent Hinds. listen to this song again after we get off real quick and tell me you don't hear Divinations or Oblivion in there, because it's there, man. Now, just the note choices and the chicken picking sort of thing. Although I don't think Gary's doing chicken picking here. It kind of could be, but I'm not sure. But it's there. So great leadoff track.
Yeah, I guess to touch on like my somewhat overall feel of like the album real quick, because I might not have as much to say about the individual songs as we go through, and I will try my best to come up with some stuff. But I have like my favorite songs that I definitely know and love. But then there's some that I might just be like, yeah, it's a good song. There's no song on here
I have a few
that's
like that too.
bad or subpar. Everything I think is at least an 8 for a track ranking. But some I just can't comment on as much because it does blend in a little bit more, and I just this album doesn't quite hit the emotional peaks and the high notes that the other two that we're talking about tonight will. But in a way, I think that's perfectly fine. Like this has that everyday, everyman kind of album feel to it. Like the other two are like almost special occasions, or they're like almost too emotional at times. Like the emotional weight is such a part of Above and Temple of the Dog that you have to be careful a little bit. But I think this one just it feels like that drug addict trying to figure out everyday life and just doing his best and making it work. And there's a little bit of an everyday mundane kind of vibe to it, which I personally enjoy. I mean, we all have jobs and routines that feel like that, and this kind of echoes.
It's also probably the album that's got the most garage rocky feel, like the band that you could see here down the street practicing in their garage and go, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna walk down and see what those dudes are up to. And then you get down there and it's a bunch of dad rock dudes. You know what I mean? They're kind of dad rock dudes. They even look like dad rock dudes, even though they were young back then.
Probably helped create the grunge.
And we should note another tie-in. The drummer Barrett Martin ends up as the drummer of Mad Season.
Yep.
So there you go. There's that tie-in as well. Great drummer too, by the way. Great drummer.
He's one of the highlights for me of this album, and
absolutely,
because the overall feel of this album, we're reaching to the 70s. They're reaching to the 70s, but the style and the vibe, I think, is definitely that garage rock. There's definitely still that MC5 vibe.
It's very grounded in late 60s psychedelia. Bands like the Electric the Electric Prunes and stuff like that, as far as the guitar playing.
That's a new one.
And then, you never heard I Had Too Much to Dream last night? Oh, you gotta check that song out, dude. It's fucking amazing. Chocolate Watch Band, or Chocolate Watch Band. Which, man, I wish I was gonna keep doing YouTube, because I would love to get Chris Reeford on. We'll talk about that at the end. I don't know where I'm at. I'm having a lot of trouble with that right now with a lot of
day
stuff.
by day, my friend. Yeah.
We'll talk about it at the very end. But very garage rocky and very Byrds, like heavy Byrds influence, heavy Dylan influence to a degree here.
I'm glad you mentioned Dylan. I was going to say there's like a American folk and just Americana vibe to it as well.
Yep.
Of the Dylan and the
Lanigan's
Neil
another
Young
one of those
kind of style.
And Lanigan's another one of those poets with the way he writes lyrics. Fantastic lyrics that are very everyman sort of vibe to them, So I love the Shadows. Fucking awesome. Then we get to Nearly Lost You. That's, I think, their biggest hit ever. Great fucking song, man. We talked about the chords real quick. Those sevenths, Oh, now I know why it was off.
You got
I didn't detune.
Real quick about the drumming. Or you're playing.
Anyways, that's the basic gist of that song. I used to know it really well, but and I'll tell you the one thing about this band that's really kind of interesting, and Marty, if you're still watching, you'll understand. They do a lot with a little. They create these cool songs out of very little going on in terms of like chordal structures. Not a lot of complex stuff going on. Dollar Bill, the next song, is 2 chords. The whole song, man. like an old dollar bill. And that's the whole song, the whole way through, pretty much, except for when they do the heavy part, when he does the heavy part with the chorus. So, yeah, I love this fucking song, man. I hear a ton of Beatles influence in this song, Nearly Lost You. It's got so much Beatles going on. It's crazy in there. And again, Van loves to use, or Van, I said Van, it's Gary Lee, loves to use seventh chords throughout. This is a pop song. Nearly Lost You is a major pop song. Simple.
There's these big rock choruses in some of these songs that feel like they are from like 70s pop music. And that's the big one. And one of the things that makes it happen is the drum work. I just wanted to highlight what he does. He has a very loud drum sound, which is different from what
and he's busy without being Mike Portnoy or Virgil Donati or something. He's busy without it sounding complex. Kind of like Matt Cameron. They don't use giant sets. They just have a lot of work and accent work and ghost notes and, you know, great stuff.
He's one of the most impressive drummers from this scene, I think. Yeah. And he's very undervalued or underappreciated. And I think he rivals Matt Cameron and, you know.
And Sean Kinney's another guy, which we won't go off. But Sean is super tricky in how complex he is without being complex. But and then we do Dollar Bill, which I believe was the second single after Nearly Lost You. And I just played the chords from it. And, man, absolutely one of my favorite Trees song, man. It's so good. Super stripped down. Lanigan's vocals are absolutely amazing on this. Oh, like an old dollar bill. Da, 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 what you will. And then when he does the heavier, trying to get it going on. I don't know the lyrics off top. Well, here we go. Have it right here. So I don't want, when he does that, I don't want to hurt you. Seems it's all I do. I don't want to desert you. And then he goes, goodbye, mama. I've taken this too far. Been down a while, been down too long. It's just a great
and it builds to the, I'm going to take it easy on you.
Take it easy on me. Yeah, it's so damn good, dude. I love this song. You're going to hear that one. I got to play it.
That's going to be your pick. Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to go with No One Knows because it's got a killer tagline in it. The riff in it is so cool.
I think I'm going to go with favorite. Yeah,
it's a great song towards the end. So then we got More or Less. It's a darker, almost a Neil Young vibe, and you can hear Neil Young in a lot of these songs too, big time. I think
that's one of the ones I can't.
Crazy
remember.
Horse.
I can't remember what it sounds like off the top of my head.
It's mid tempo. It's probably my least favorite song on the album, to be honest with you. And then we get to Butterfly, which has got another big hit, man. Another big
Butterfly's good.
Of course on it. Bye bye butterfly, I'm sick and I want to go home. And it's so catchy, man. And it's only a 3.5 minute song, if that. Very, very reminiscent of early 70s and psychedelia and that vibe to it. That's one that probably stands out to you, right?
Yes. Yeah. Not probably in the top 5, I would say. Probably my 5th. But it's the chorus once again, you already said it's got the hook. And
it's got the hook, man.
Yeah.
You can't, and Lanigan sings it so cool. He's just got this. I always think of the word laconic, even though I'm not 100% what that means. I do know what it means, but I don't know if it completely. Let me look at something here. I want
to effortlessly lazy, or like maybe, I don't know.
Using very few words, and that's kind of what he does. Yeah. He's not a wordy singer. He doesn't layer a lot of lyrics in like maybe Chris might or something. He just kind of rolls with it, and every one of these songs on the album is good. There's not a bad song on this album at all. There's not one of those songs where you're like, that song sucks. There's no real skippers. Maybe More or Less might be the skipper, but I kind of like that track. But that's just the thing. So, and then we get to very for Celebrations Past, very Birds and Stones like, very Birds.
That's a good one. There's so many tough songs. Like that could be my 4th favorite. I don't know.
Very 60s. This one has a very 60s psychedelic garage vibe to it. It reminds me a lot of the 70s Topanga Canyon sort of vibe, like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, the Byrds. The stuff that was coming out of SoCal in the late the early 70s or very late 60s that was kind of had an almost earthy vibe, like you said. Everything sounded earthy. Fucking the Grassroots, Love, bands like that. It's got a love vibe to it in a lot of ways too.
Yep.
Great
Dirty
song.
Hippie. Yep.
Yeah, great fucking song, man. The Secret Kind. Again, another garagey rock track with a big catchy chorus. Lots of killer drumming by Barrett Martin, which we talked about a lot on here. Yeah. How about this one?
I think I just want to highlight that they did have two different styles of songwriting. Like they had either the garage rock
hit thing,
the pop, or they had the very much down tuned like Americana style, like Dollar Bill and Butterfly and No One Knows, and which really is just a bit more somber, dirge like. And I like both. They don't really stray from either of these ways of writing songs to me.
No, and that's why I said that Temple of the Dog is very varied throughout. You don't get the same track over. You kind of get a slight bit of sameness with Trees, just a little bit, not a lot.
That's why it blends in for me a little bit. Like for Celebrations Past, the chorus is always one of my highlights, I think, for the album. But then I can't think of what like the main riff and vibe of the song is,
Yeah, I agree.
Just that the chorus is the standout. It's got that like garage rock, but almost like stadium style feel that Nearly Lost You kind of has. And same goes with The Secret Kind. It has that similar vibe to it. But other than that, I can't like think of like what's the verse sound like? And when comparing to Temple of the Dog, even the verse melody,
you almost know it right away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Just reading the lyrics, it comes to you immediately. You're like, oh my god.
Yep. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. Of all these three albums, this is the one I've spent the least amount of repeated listens with. But I will say that once I started listening to it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this song. Oh yeah, I remember that song. I can't say that with most death metal bands, even stuff that I love, unless it's something like Death or some of these bands where I can say that with a lot of Mastodon tracks too. I know those songs. Like all I got to hear is a moment of it. I'm like, oh yeah, I know it. So it is kind of like, and I'm not dogging death metal because I love death metal. I love black metal too. But if you said to me, hey, sing the refrain of every Ulver song off of Bergtot or Nottin's Madrigal, I'm going to go, no, I can't do it. I just couldn't.
The purpose of the music is different, right? And I think
very different.
Here it's, or at least for Temple of the Dog, is about like the Chris Cornell and the melodies and stuff.
Right.
And I think here it is a little bit about just that kind of dirty style, the vibe that just carries throughout, and I love it. I love the vibe throughout. There's no music I would take away for sure. For me, this album ends up being around probably like an 8.8 or something like that. Like it doesn't quite get to that 9.
Yeah, this is a 9 for me simply because it's the best they did, in my opinion. I know a lot of people like Dust. I think Dust is even more kind of doomier sounding in a lot of ways, and I haven't listened to that one in a long time. This is always like my go-to Trees album, even though
this is a good balance with that like psychedelia garage rock style.
Yeah, it's a little less early Seattle grunge and more it's a good crossover between the two sort of sounds, like the two tracks you talked about. Real quick, Troubled Times, which I think is one Winter Song, another cool Birds REM-ish one. Again, and I say this here, is they excelled at writing the kind of song that straddles alternative rock and pop and garage psych. That was kind of their trip, you know what I mean? That was what they did best. And we got Winter Song. Oh, I just did that one. Troubled Times. Bluesy, menacing, dark, and dirgy. Again, always hits the garage grunge sweet spot. We're going to play this one here in a minute. Great vocals by Mark on this one. Any comment on that one?
Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite song on the album. It the way it builds, because it starts off like it sounds like it's going to be more of a ballad kind of for the album, but then it just picks up, and when you get to the chorus, it just takes off, and it has this urgent kind of feeling to it as well. Troubled times they are burning, troubled times they are turning.
Turn Your Head Away. That's all I can remember. I really do not have the memory or the ear for
this one or the next one. Yeah, I get you. I totally get you.
Just you being able to sing along effortlessly to all this stuff. Like
I can't except for the first 4 or 5 tracks. I can't remember these later ones, to be very blunt with you. After you get past Butterfly, I kind of forget them. I know all the first 4 or 5, and then they are a little bit more forgettable in terms of. I think if we listen to this album like 15 times, they'd kind of be burned in there. But they're not that. It's not that kind of an album that you can just repeatedly go back to and back to and back to and back to. For me,
I agree.
Yeah.
I still think it ends strong. No One Knows and Julie Paradise are both very good tracks.
I love No One Knows. I love that opening riff. That pre-chorus chorus is super killer. I really struggled with wanting to play this one on, and I love the awesome squealer guitar solo that he does on this one. It's just that right amount of grit and gnarly garage MC5 tone that is really unique and sounds cool. And then Julie Paradise, actually, it's kind of a killer closer, man. It's a raucous up. It builds and builds and builds, and it gets in. You know what I heard here? I weirdly heard like a Cult song. It sort of sounded like the Cult. Yeah. And I could honestly hear Ian Astbury singing this song. Like I
want to listen to it again. I almost want to change my choice, but
and I've never touched on much my love of the Cult, but I love the Cult a lot. Probably my favorite band of that era. Love is one of my favorite albums of all time.
I don't want to go back to this, but do you hear any Cult on?
A little bit. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I was thinking that earlier today.
Especially his voice. Andrew had a little bit of. Andrew had a very theatrical sort of voice, kind of like Ian Astbury early on.
That's what. That was one of the people that I thought of. Was Ian Astbury.
Yeah, that's one band that I wish, if I don't shut down completely here soon because of my health, that was a band that I feel like I need to do something with. Right? I need to do something with that band. Yeah, I actually put this album at 9.25. I think it's that good. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So. And well worth grabbing. Of all the
I think so.
Screaming Trees, it's probably the one I would recommend you start with. So, all right, this is the 2013 edition, which would have been the 10th anniversary. Well, not quite the 10th anniversary. I'm not sure why it came out in 2013 and not 2015, but whatever.
Well, this is a ninth. Oh, are we jumping to?
Yeah, we're ready. Oh, we got to do tracks. God damn it! All right, mute yourself. One track coming up, like Diamond Dave says. All right, here we go. Come on.
me on down, baby. Ah, show me on down, baby. Ah, show me on down, baby. Ah, show me on down, baby. Ah, what did I got to hurry? Trouble starts to worry. Turn your head away. Swear to you, I'm learning. Trouble times are turning. Turn your head away. What did I got to hurry? Trouble times to worry. Turn your head away. Swear to you, I'm learning. Trouble times are turning. Turn your head away. Show me all down, baby. Show me all down, baby. Show me all down. Let to rest. You know my love ain't the best. It's just another question of taste. And I'm bored train till it's late to waste. Torn like an old dollar bill. Girl, let them say what they will. And no one should hurt ya. That's all I seem to do. That no one should desert ya. That's all I seem to do. I gotta tell ya goodbye, mama. We're taking this too far. Been trying to tell you what's going on. Yeah. Trying to make it easy on you. Trying to make it better, make it easier on you. It's all I came to do. Oh, it's all I came to do. Oh. Down in the light, and I must be dreaming it. 'Cause I see clearly, I see angels bringing something to me. Mother mercy, told I didn't need it. Goodbye, mama, I've taken this too far. Been gone a while, been gone long. Oh, yeah.
Man, shit! I forgot to turn echo off. I don't know if people could hear that well or not. Shit.
I heard it fine. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know. There's
I don't know if I'm hearing in the same
Yeah, I know.
the same audio as what the audience hears, but I heard it
Dennis
fine.
can never hear stuff when I play it, and the last several times I've done it, it comes out well, but I don't think I turned off echo cancellation. But dude, that is 3 chords. It's just
Yeah.
that's when he does the heavier part. Where it's done.
What's the chorus part where it's like, take it easy? So the variation is in just the vocal delivery.
Chord strumming, but he comes in with that D to go. Dun, 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 goes back to the F major 7. It's so genius in a songwriting sense, but it's 3 chords the whole fucking song. It's like, what? Oh shit! Am I still there?
You're still there, and it honestly, Rick and Crazy White Boy confirmed they both heard it perfectly.
They heard
fine.
it okay. All right, cool.
I
never
think we're
know
good.
With this thing. I never quite know. So all right, so moving on, so we can get this full thing in here by the end here. This album, Mad Season.
Oh man, yeah.
Above. This is the 2013 reissue. That's the original, I'm assuming there. Or a reissue of it, whatever.
Probably a reissue, yeah.
Yeah. I have both the original and this, of course. And I don't even remember exactly in 95 how I found out, but you know, I always had my finger on the pulse of the Seattle scene throughout my adult life at that point. And you know, with Lane probably being my second favorite singer, you know, of all time. Most people would be like, it's not Geddy Lee. No, it's really not, believe it or not. But I love Geddy, but he's not in, I don't consider him in this class of vocalists that are amazing. It was the Rush as a whole, as a trio, is why they're the greatest band forever and ever. But yeah, man, Mad Season, Above. Should note that in the packaging here, this is a drawing or a painting or something that, I don't know, a litho, I guess, that Lane did of himself and his partner, Demry Parrott, who died in 1996. And both these two had a very tempestuous and somewhat dangerous relationship, I would say, in that, you know, they were both heroin addicts, and we lost Lane to heroin back in 2002, right? Am I right on that?
Yes.
Yeah. And this album was done recorded in 94. Let me pull that up real quick here. Came out March 14th, 95, but it was recorded in the winter of 94. It was recorded at Bad Animals, which a lot of these albums were recorded at. Brett Eliason and Mad Season are the producers, and we should say that they're an American rock supergroup formed in 94 as a side project of members of other bands in the Seattle grunge scene. Band's principal members included Mike McCready of Pearl Jam, Lane Staley of Alice in Chains, drummer Barrett Martin of Screaming Trees, and bassist John Baker Saunders, who was kind of a blues guy out of Chicago that Mike ended up meeting at a drug rehab, because Mike had heroin problems way back when. And he and John Saunders met at a rehab, and Saunders went west to Seattle with him, and they put this kind of band together that was in, you know, Alice by this time. I believe this comes out before the final Alice album. Am I right about that? Yes.
I don't know when in 95 Tripod was released, but
you
probably are right, I would say.
Yeah, I believe it did. Tripod came out in 95, later 95, I believe. So Lane was working on this, but this was
October 31st.
There we go.
Look at that.
And that was the end of Alice in Chains at that point. They did a couple tracks.
They were over then.
They were kind of over then. And to be honest with you, even during the recording of this album, Lane was, you can tell just by look at him, he does not look well. I was actually watching some footage of Lane. He just doesn't look well there, man. He looks sick. I mean, compared to the other guys, he just looks. Ironically, Barrett would die then in 99 of a heroin overdose. So Heroin always sort of an ever-present figure in a lot of these.
It's the Reaper. You said that early on. It's the Reaper of the
Reaper
scene.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm trying to remember. So what this has on it is the original album with 5 additional tracks, a little acoustic interlude, just called Interlude, Locomotive, and Black Book of Fear, and Slip Away, which are with Mark Lanegan, another tie-in, because after Lane became too sick to record and to tour and to be a musician anymore, he isolated and became sort of a kind of a ghost.
He was a hermit.
He was a ghost.
Yeah,
He was a ghost in a lot of
that's
ways.
more accurate.
He was dead without being dead yet, sadly. And despite a lot of people trying to get him well, including Sean and Mike Starr, who unfortunately we lost as well to an overdose, because Mike was very much in active addiction and didn't help with Lane, quite frankly, although he tried to save him in the very end. He was probably the last person to see him alive, apparently. Those two were pretty close because they were heroin buddies. They were drug addicts. And Demery, the whole thing is just this sad thing. It really is, to lose a guy like Lane, who was possibly one of the most and I have a great Lane story before we get into this. I got to see Lane. I'm probably one of the few people I know that did get to see Lane with Alice on their very first tour, Facelift. They opened for Extreme of all bands at Hammerjacks in Baltimore. And this was before Man in a Box blew up. The album had just come out, and this was their very first East Coast tour. And the reason I know that is, yes, I'm doing a little star fucking here. I got to meet Jerry and hang out with him one day a little bit after a show back in 2009. Super coolest fucking guy ever. Just super fucking cool. And he told me that's the first time we ever played the East Coast. I can't believe you were at that show. And so we were talking, we were nerding out on Rush and all kind of cool stuff. But, and Lane was without question, along with Chris, who I saw first time on Loud Love Tour. And I've told the story a million times during the Voivod, the weird
Faith
Voivod Faith No More tour that I got to see, which I think Marty, if he's still here, he got to see that too. Lane and Chris were the two most powerful live vocalists I think I've ever seen from this era of music. They just were forces of nature, man. And so I got to see Lane before he was sick, when he was very healthy, and the dude was just he was god tier stuff, right? God tier shit. But back to this. So we got Above comes out March of 95. First single, River of Deceit, was a radio success, and Above was certified a gold record by RIAA in June of that year. The band went on a semi-permanent hiatus in 96 due to other band members' conflicting schedules and Staley's problems with substance abuse. Attempts were made in the late 90s to revive the band with Screaming Trees frontman Mark Lanegan instead of Staley, and material for a follow-up release was recorded. The band permanently dissolved in 99 following the death of John Baker Saunders from a drug overdose. Staley would also die from an overdose 3 years later. Martin and McCready have since made 2 short partial reunions, one in 2012 and one from 2014 to 2015. Special edition box set containing a remastered edition of the album and various unreleased material. Lots of demos. Live at the Moore Theater is on here on audio and on DVD.
That's awesome.
Yeah, bonus features include, and I do that video is great to watch. But you can tell Lane is already slipping. He's struggling. But there are bonus live tracks on here, and then there's live at Rock Candy, and which does most of the album. Then there's a Self Pollution radio edit thing and a music video of River to Deceit. Haven't watched this in a long time, but all the songs, the song Locomotive, Black Book of Fear, and Slip Away are Mark Lanegan for the new album that was going to be tried to be done at the end of 99, 2000. I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, I believe, is Lane. I'd have to double check, but I believe it is him. I think
it is. I think he gets I was looking up the whole rundown, and his name is attached to that track on Wikipedia. So do with that what you will.
And actually, another tie-in here is Mark Lanigan's vocals on 12 through 14. Yes, it was 15 is Lane. On the track, that new tracks were recorded by Alan Johannes, who is the guy that did all the production and writing with Chris on Morning Euphoria. So again, the tie-ins, just the snakes get more tentacled. You know,
it's just the scene, man. There
yeah,
are so many great
very
talented
tight,
musicians who are
very
all
tight scene,
very
tight
close
scene.
together. Yeah.
All right, so we'll yeah, Hammerjacks was fucking crazy killer, dude. Was there many times, which shows how really old I am. Which I can't fight it. All right, so you're gonna hear this track as the final track that we play, and I wanted to choose it, but I had a feeling Logan would choose it.
Then I delivered, thankfully.
Possibly the most powerful track we're gonna listen to tonight.
It is
amongst a lot of powerful tracks. About addiction and the battle that you were in for. And I know people, myself included, that have been in addiction battles and how devastating it can be. I also know, and I think that this song is a lot lyrically about the causes for addiction, not just the addiction and the process. I think there's a lot of deep thoughts, or not deep thoughts, reflective thoughts in what he says in here about this. And I want to read the lyrics because I think
it sounds like a journey for sure. We're talking about wake up here.
Yeah,
and it sounds like a journey.
Yeah,
but yes, there you go.
And it really is one of the most beautifully sad and heavy songs I think I've ever heard. It's an autobiographical lyric by Lane. It shows how fragile Lane is at the time, yet he delivers intensely on this song, man. One of his best vocals ever, and it's tragically poetic and tragically prophetic.
Yep.
Because in a weird way in this song, I think he's actually saying, I may not make it through this.
I'm not going to wake up.
I'm not going to wake
up.
Yeah. Although you could look at it from that perspective, or you could look at it from the perspective of, wake up, man. Wake up. Stop doing this to yourself. Stop.
You mean so he's not? He knows. To me, that's actually the whole thing of this album. I don't want to derail you from going into the lyrics, but one of the purposes of Mike and I forget the name of the bass player now, but they met. They were sober, so they come to be like a sober band with Lane.
They wanted to get Lane sober and help.
Was to all be in a sober band and for Lane to see what being in a sober band looked like.
Yeah. Because the reality was that in his own band at the time, Mike wasn't sober, although Mike was out, I think, by then. Mike Starr, I think.
Starr was. It was Inez was there.
And Jerry wasn't sober either, although Jerry never, I don't think, dabbled in opiates too much. I don't think he was doing shooting up.
I didn't think anyone else was doing heroin.
I don't think so either.
Dallas,
well,
at that time,
no, Mike Starr was, but I know Mike.
At that time.
No, at that time they had all kind of woken up. I think Jerry was fighting alcohol, shit, and weed, and that kind of stuff.
It's not to say they didn't have other issues with substances, but just not that specific
not
one.
Not the scary shit.
Intense shit. So Lane wrote all the lyrics here, and to me, most of them are about this journey and this. Path, and it does feel prophetic.
It's so prophetic, dude, because within
he's admitting
8 years he's
going to lose this fight. To me,
he's going to lose the fight.
And I don't know how much of the lyrics that he's writing here have to do with his girlfriend. You know, Del Rey. I don't know. I'm assuming a lot, but it's like you could trade. Some of it could be about him, her,
the song,
both.
The song "Lifeless Dead" is 1,000% about her. Man. Yeah. And
what
actually,
dark song.
I don't know anything. It's kind of about her a little bit. It's all there, man. It's all there. I'm Above has some references to it. River Seat. Yeah.
I wanted to get your opinion. What is just Above as a title, like that name? Or
it came out of the.
What do you think it's referencing? Or
it came from the song "I'm Above."
Yeah, but so it's just a power dynamic, right? Like a relationship.
I think we'd almost have to look at the lyrics to "I'm Above." Let's see if I'm trying to remember. Let me see what the lyrics were off the top of my head.
I mean, the cover looks a little bit like Lane is above her.
Well, here you go.
We got the drugs above Lane, so. I can't hear you, by the way, dude. I don't know if it's me or. Can you hear me?
Now? Now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Going back to, I must have kicked the cord. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
I was checking
So,
all but
the song I'm Above is definitely about fucking Demery. There's no doubt. He says, for clear space and soundness of mind, I've let you play me for some time. One can only receive and retain, but the lies you recite for your gain. So you rely on my faith in your kind, or rather continue to pretend that I'm blind. You say I made your life a living hell, and yet let me pay you when I fell. And then he does the part, how is it you're feeling so uneasy? How is it that I feel fine? Life reveals that it's dealt through seasons. Circle comes around each time. And then when he does the part, when he goes into the chorus, is I'm above. Over you I'm standing above. Claiming unconditional love above. Yeah, it's all about her, man. Try to keep the bad about in the past. Never caught a chance that would last. I have strength enough to forgive. I desire peace where I live. Dude, he's talking to her in that song. There's no question, I mean, that absolutely boom, Sorry, I muted myself.
No, you're good. I just like how you can tell it's Lane all over this album because of his lyrics, and that I think that speaks volumes.
But we got to talk about Wake Up's lyrics.
Yes, sorry to derail that. Now let's dive into that.
Wake up, young man. It's time to wake up. Your love affair has got to go for 10 long years. So, yeah, he started doing it probably in the late 80s, and now he's in the mid-90s. It's about a 10-year love affair, although this could also be pointed at Demery, too, because they started dating in 1988. Mm-hmm. So it could also be that. But for 10 long years, the leaves to rake up. Slow suicide's no way to go. Oh, no. Blue clouded gray, you're not a crack up. Dizzy and weakened by the haze. Move in onward. When he does that, so infection, not a phase. Dude. Yeah. I mean, Lane is probably the guy I come closest to really vocally. I can probably nail his notes the best of all. I won't do it the whole way through, but when he does the whole, wake up, it's so emotionally fucking intense and draining listening to this song. I love every moment of this song. It's so beautiful. It's just, we're going to listen to it. So, fucking amazing song. X-Ray Mind, some super sweet riffs on here. Killer Chorus, oddly probably my least favorite song on the album. It doesn't do as much for me as a lot of the other songs do, weirdly. I don't know why. It just doesn't,
It's maybe a little more simplistic or straightforward, I would say. Like it doesn't have quite the depth of some of the other songs. But it has a psychedelic sounding guitar melody. I love the guitar work, which once again, Mike McCready, man, he is the man. Who can just,
this riff is great though. This riff's great where he does it. I got to remember.
That sounds like it. You're just missing the last melody.
That's it. It's in E. It's a simple riff, a bluesy riff, but it sounds really cool the way they recorded it. There's a lot of delay and echo. He's got a lot of that going on this album. That was the thing back then. Great song. It's just probably my least favorite of the tracks on here. River of Deceit, another gorgeous vocal by Lane. Sounds very vulnerable on this. Kind of on the edge of breaking up. That river of the sea, only way to go is down. When he does the down, on down, down, on down. It's just this beautiful, simple melody again. That one I used to know. I don't remember how to play it off top. I'd have to practice it a little bit. But it's not that difficult. I mean, I know the one riff is the
opening.
It's just a G, an F up to a G, and I just don't remember how to play it off the top of my head. But I love that song. Love it. Can re-listen to it over and over and over, and it never bothers me at all, man. Not at all. And then we talked about I'm Above. It's kind of languid and sort of, drifting when it first comes in until he gets.
But it's
to
the rock song,
chorus.
man. It's the rock song.
When you get to the chorus, it is. Yeah. And it sounds very 70s to me.
Agreed.
It's even got a slight little punkish sort of vibe to it as well. Great drumming by Barrett Martin on it. And what I love about that song is the marimbas and keys on it. The vibraphone and the marimbas just sets it into sort of a different vibe because
Lanigan is on this song apparently as well.
He does background
vocals, yeah.
He does some lead on Long
We'll get
Gone
to
Day.
it, Long Gone Day,
which I love that track too. I really love I'm Above. Again, I'm above, claiming unconditional love. It's just so good. Anything more on that one?
It's a favorite on the album. Like,
go back to River of Deceit because I don't think I let you say anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna let you run through it and then come back. Like,
how I get excited and
dude, you were just moving on through. I'm like, all right, you take it and run with it, dude. But I guess to go back, like,
go back to Wake Up if you want.
Hey, I mean, hell, can I just go back and talk about the album as a whole a little bit more?
Sure.
Yeah. Another album for me that came right early on in my just music awakening, like that first year that I got into because of the Alice in Chains connection and wanting like the rock songs. But this was another one where it wasn't just hard rock, hard hitting guitar riffs the whole time. I had to learn to adapt to the dynamics and every single song was a different story and a different, part of Mad Season's sound. So it took me a bit of learning how to listen to this album, and I mean it's fully clicked with me. This is my favorite album we'll be talking about tonight.
Oh really? No kidding. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I like this one better than
probably my second
Temple of the Dog for me. It's just the emotional place that Lane is in, and I like it's a very psychedelic album. To me, this is the most 70s psychedelic drenched style. Once
and
again,
it's not, and real quick,
yeah.
Except for one track on here,
yes,
it bears almost no resemblance to the Screaming Trees. It bears virtually no, except for one track again, it bears virtually no resemblance to Alice in Chains. And who's the other guy in it? And Pearl Jam. It doesn't really, well, maybe a little Pearl Jam here and there, but not really much. That would probably be the band that it most resembles, but not even really.
It's a very unique sound once again, where I feel like it's pulling from like 70s psychedelia. I don't think I have the musical vocabulary to articulate where it's all pulling from, but like acid rock or like this, like, what would you call like 13th Floor Elevator or something like that? Like this,
like, kind of that psychedelic acid rock.
It's just the way that the guitars are so reverbed out and drenched, and
how delay and chorus, and he's got Mike uses a lot of effects.
The effects are phenomenal, but the one through line I think to Temple of the Dog and his playing on there, it's the blues, man. He can't escape the blues.
He's a big blues player.
He loves it, dude.
Hendrix and Stevie Ray are his two favorite players, man.
Like, just listen to Artificial Red, a favorite song on this album for me. That's just a blues song, dude. It's just a slow, like, building blues track that, once again, the same trick that Chris Cornell was able to exercise on Temple of the Dog, where Mike, really, there's a lot of space for Chris to sing. On Above, Lane has the stage now, and he has so much space to do his vocal flexing and really give it his all. And I'm sure he was even while vocally recording this album, he was in a weakened state, but you can't tell. In my opinion,
listen, man, one of the last performances I think he ever gave was on the tour where they were opening for Kiss. And I think his last show was in Kansas City in 1995. And you can find that video out there. And he barely moves. He barely walks around. He's holding on to that microphone, just trying to
For dear life, basically.
white knuckling through. But you know what didn't go away? His fucking powerful voice.
I think he didn't want to cheapen the voice. I think that's why. I mean, this is all speculation and should never be used as fact. But he stepped away from performing long before he ended up passing, right?
Yes.
And I think because he didn't want his voice to suffer.
I think he didn't want to show up that way. He did a couple of tracks that are on the box set, which is right here, actually. Shockingly. Wait, come on now. Get the fuck. Are you serious? Yeah, the Music Bank box has the only outtake things that Alice ever did, and the last track, from what I understand, that Lane ever did was a track called "Die." Did you ever hear that?
I honestly
It's
don't know.
only on this box set. That's if you haven't.
No, I have not. Yeah,
you gotta check it out, man. It's probably one of the most intense fucking tracks they ever did. I think.
Oh,
it is fucking killer, man. And he still sounds. Let's see if I find it on here. He still gets. Let me see if I can find it here. Damn it. Where are you at?
Are you looking for the lyrics or?
No, I'm trying to find the fucking write-up about the song. Grind was also one of the last songs he did too. Grind from the
Yes, yeah.
Nothing Safe, I think it is, box. Here it is, Died. This was recorded September, October 98. It's the last thing that Lane did. I wish we got a little bit more work on that one. It's more Alice in the Jam Room. It's not as finished as Born Again, which was also another last track, Born Again.
I've heard that one. Yeah.
It's vicious. It's got teeth. It doesn't have many overdubs. It's maybe a pure, raw form of what Alice is. Isn't pretty, and that's not a bad thing at all. That was the last track that Lane sang on, 98. And he died, roughly 4.5 years later. So,
yeah.
He sounds amazing on this album, like he
Yep.
did on every Alice album, and anything he did, he was just a powerhouse. As I said, I was watching some tour footage of him and Mike, both very healthy from 80. No. Whenever they went out and opened up for Van Halen, Van Hagar. And I want to say that was 91, 92 maybe, 93 at the most. I can't remember. Maybe 90, 91. And you see Lane walking around. He's a beautiful dude. He's a good-looking guy. He looks powerful and strong there. He sounds fucking amazing doing Love, Hate, Love on a sound check that somebody got. And this is old footage. You got to check this stuff out, Logan. It's amazing to watch. And him and Mike, Tabitha Sorensen from MTV is doing a on the bus tour of the bus, and they're on like one of the big buses, and it's super cool. But that's way before this.
Yeah.
Years before this. And by this time, he's already deep into heroin usage. He was speedballing too. He was doing speed and, speed and heroin. So he was doing speedball stuff. Yeah, crazy good. So,
man,
go ahead. Back to where you were at.
Yeah, dude. I mean, "Wake Up" is my favorite song off of this album, and it's so somber. It opens up so slow with just those like, I guess this is a bass guitar that it kind of opens up with it, and boom, 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 and
the marimbas, and the fucking vibes on this song. There's not a lot of guitar until you get to the later portion of the song.
So, I mean, Mike just steps back off, like, as a guitarist, he lets everyone else have space, and it's amazing that he's able to do it. I mean, maybe it's because I'm so used to just listening to metal, and that's what I like, where the guitar is always the front and center and the guide. But, to hear a rock album where the guitarist is so separate is impressive, and I like the fact that
he does that on the last track. He does it on the last track too.
Yes,
he's playing chords there, but they're kind of through a
very in the
processor that
background.
make it drift and float. Yeah.
But no, just the way Wake Up builds to Lane's belting, and it's heart wrenching. It's really heart wrenching. I can't wait to hear it at the tail end of this stream. And yeah, it's one of those tracks which will always give me chills, and I think is indeed the final send off. Really, it's hard to listen to in a way, but it's
knowing what
beautiful,
you know.
and it's hard at the same time.
Yeah,
and it to me just like it could be about the girlfriend, but I think in a little bit it's about him already knowing. And to me, when you listen to this album, it feels like it was already known.
Well, you gotta also.
It's probably just us looking back.
Well, here's
who
the
knows
thing,
how it was written, but
here's the thing, though. From what I've read, I believe Lane was through 15 rehabs before he died. That's a lot of rehabs, man. He had the money to do it, and the band tried and management tried. Susan Silver was very involved in that. Susan Silver being Chris Cornell's first wife and their manager, Alice's manager.
Yes,
I think she's still Alice's manager to this day. And, she tried. They all tried, man. I mean, Sean, I know, went to his apartment and tried to get him to go to rehab, get him help again. Sean did. Jerry was the one that was bitter towards the end because I think, if you listen to Degradation Trip, you can hear a lot of anger towards
even Boggy Depot a little bit, which I almost picked Boggy Depot as a third album for this.
Oh, man, it's a great album, man. Degradation Trip's the trip, though. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
But when he does that song, or he does that line, so an infection, not a phase, it's just like, man, it tears you apart, because he knew.
To me, that's what I get out from this album, is mainly that it's about himself largely and his girlfriend and both of their struggles, and the fact that they kind of already, I don't know, seem to give in, and this is just the most hopeless and kind of depressing of the three albums that we're going to talk about.
She died in 1988, October 98. So she was dead
she had
almost 5 years before. Yeah, but when she died, the words, the things I've read and heard from people that have some insight into it was that kind of Lane that was it. He just kind of gave up and he just didn't really care. He was high all the time for the most part. He couldn't cope with life. There's a video out there of Lane's his apartment that he died in, kind of a condo. It was a really nice place, but he shared that with her at one point. And, I think he just knew he didn't want to get out of it, and he knew he wasn't going to
That's what it seemed like. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, at least from my perspective, because I'm only watching like people's YouTube videos that may, looking back at it in hindsight, but to me it just seemed like he had resigned himself to that existence at the end, which, I mean, God, 8 years is a long time to just put yourself away from the world and isolate into addiction. So it's crazy.
What about the next couple tracks?
X-Ray Mind, as I said, I really do like it. It's a bit more of the straightforward like rock song, but Mike McCready's guitar work, I think, is a highlight. That's where he shows off how much reverb and effect he can play. You already did the guitar riff. Great stuff. River of Deceit. Another single that was played significantly on popular radio over and over again. Still not tired of it. Beautiful, somber track. Very simple. Like, it's really only a couple lines lyrically, and at the same time, it's powerful. I'm above. I think this one I kind of weighed in on enough. It's definitely probably my second favorite track after Wake Up. It's that hard rock song I was like looking for initially,
right?
When I was coming in as a 16-year-old, looking for that guitar riff and that like rock hook. And when he goes into the chorus, it hooks you, really. It's impressive, and yeah, doesn't let me go.
Rick says that there was a send-off. I don't know, Rick. You sure about that? Did he actually sing in it? Because everything I've ever read was that Died was the last song he tracked, like in a studio. Maybe you're right, man. Porno for Pyros. There's an interesting one.
Never tried them
before?
It's
Porno for Pyros. I know it's a Perry Farrell thing.
yeah.
Not the biggest Perry Farrell fan, truthfully. So
Well, not anymore. I'm not a Perry
well,
Farrell
yeah,
fan at all.
especially now.
What a cunt of a dude. But yeah, but I did like Nothing Shocking in the first 3 Jane's albums quite a bit. And then I really kind of, that was the end of that. But that was a time and place thing. You know what I mean? Okay, so we'll move into Artificial Red, which is very bluesy.
Yep.
Very bluesy, man. Very down tempo. Very Trowerish, man. He does the little double stop. You know, kind of right out of Bridge of Sighs there. Really snarling vocal by Lane. Artificial red, smoke, poison, consume. You know, it's like, is this the way? What is it? I spend my days in recovery of this fatal disease. Yep. There you go. Another fucking, you know, on a cloud of pink that's turned to gray. This is about, in a lot of ways, this is all about fucking rehab, dude. Because they talk about you're on a pink cloud when you get sober and clear-minded. He said, my pink cloud has turned to gray, meaning, fuck it, I'm out of that shit. This is all about recovery and the 12-step program.
In this house of ill repute.
House of ill repute, meaning maybe where he's living, or maybe, you know, he looks around his surroundings, is like, man, who knows? I don't clean, I don't care, I just get high, I go to sleep, you know, that kind of thing. Someone to hold against my own, alone, untouched, is what I crave, meaning I don't want to be around anybody. I just want to isolate, right? Smoke, poison, consumed. Yeah, in this place I search for love when my need is within me, a gift from above. Now think about those lines right there. He's saying, is this the place I search for love when my need is within me? In other words, I don't love myself. So how can I get love anywhere else? A gift from above could also mean intervention by God, intervention by a higher power, which they say in recovery, fake it until you make it. You know, that's another possibility too. I guarantee that's a lot of this has something to do with it. And the other ironic thing, or non-ironic thing, I guess the unironic thing, is that 3 of the 4 band members in here, with the exception of Barrett Martin, were addicts. Mike got out early and got clean and stayed clean. Barrett died of this. So did Lane. Yep. So, you know, very telling there. How about you on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I just like, it's this blues song, but it's got this like sinister vibe to it. And you talking about the lyrics and running through that, I think it kind of explains why. So Artificial Red, just the name of it, I mean, is that like kind of faking something?
Could be a name of a dope. Like, could be a name of a pill. Could be a name of where Lane is at in his head. Like, I don't know.
Artificial red, smoke, poison, consumed. Yeah.
Maybe when he's smoking heroin, I don't know. He injected a lot, but maybe, you know, a lot of times to give your arms a break or whatever, you smoke it and inhale it. I've never done heroin, so I don't know, but I know enough about it to know. Maybe the ember gets glowing red. Maybe that's artificial red. Who knows? I don't know what the analogy was there for this, but I think it's about another. I can't get out, man. I'm on a pink cloud that turned to gray, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care because I don't love myself. I don't love myself as much as other people love me. So why should I stick around? You know?
Yep.
Great song.
It's a powerful track, and once again I think it's a great song for McCready just to highlight his guitar work in it, and I think his solo towards the end is a highlight as well. So, and also just how it plays itself out. It goes with Lane doing the woo-hoo, and then the guitar. And the guitar. Yeah. Like, it's a vibe, man. It's beautiful. Like,
that's what it is. And then
they're doing call and response to each
call
other.
and response, and that actually ties slightly into Alice, because the song again is where he probably did that. Woo-hoo,
yeah.
Woo-hoo, you know, that weird. I used to know how to play it. I don't remember.
What a good song too, man. Get me on an Alice chain now.
That's kind of the riff right there. But and then so we get the Lifeless Dead, which is probably my second favorite track behind
this
Above.
This
is all
the
about
riff,
Demery.
dude.
This is about Demery big time, man.
But this is the sinister, evil riff. Holy
sinister,
shit.
man. This ba-da-da-da. That's not it. It's tuned differently. I can't remember how to do it. I never knew how to do it.
Here, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Fucking love this song. And it's a love and hate letter to Demery, clearly, when you read the lyrics. The lyrics are, fucking intense as fuck.
Is there love?
Yeah, here's why. Hang on. Let me pull it up.
How he'd wish that they had wed. How he'd wish that they would wed.
Right.
I promise on our love, she said.
Yeah, like you get into that part. Lifeless dead, that unclean bed, till or when her hunger's fed. Obviously, sex, right? How he'd wish that they would wed. I promise on our love, she said. Meaning she made promises she never. Because the sad part of this is that when she was so deeply ingrained in the drug culture and heroin abuse that she would actually go out and prostitute herself to get money to do drugs. She was a beautiful woman too, man.
Really?
Yeah, she prostituted.
I did not know that.
And that probably broke his heart a lot. I promise on our love, she said, promises were never kept. Alone on dirty floors she slept. Yeah, lifeless dead, down, 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 down. Right? Am I doing that right?
Yep, that's it, dude.
I gotta figure it out in the right key. But although he'd not accept, meaning him, she was gone, meaning she's dead, and so he wept. But she wasn't dead yet here. And when she's gone, you can interpret as she's out, away from him again, breaking his heart. Then a demon came to him saying, I'm going to win. Who's the demon here? What's the demon? Is it her? Or is it heroin?
I think it's whatever's occupying her.
Could be both. Could be both. Could be both.
Yeah.
Very, very self-autobiographical and very much about Demery. Again, she died October 29th, 96, right after this album comes out, a year. I said 98. It was 96. Of acute intoxication of opiates, meprobamate and butabol, which are anxiety and migraine meds mixed with others. And and everybody knows because I've been very open about it. I got very addicted to Klonopin, which is an anxiety drug, and it's ruined my life, quite frankly. Not in the way it's ruined their lives. I never ended up on the street or being a prostitute. Although, Logan, as fucking sexy as this hair is, imagine how much the boys would like piece of this. Anyway, that's pretty weird.
I saw your shorts earlier, dude. I know what.
And those legs, those white fucking legs.
You walked over to get your guitar.
I did. They're white legs as fuck, man. All right, so this is a volatile drug addicted. This is a volatile drug addicted relationship throughout the time they were together. This song you're gonna hear. It's gonna be the first one we're gonna play because I fucking love the riff in this. I don't know anything. This is the Alice song on the album. I don't know anything. Reminds me a lot of like Hate to Feel or what's the song off the third album, Tripod? Not God. Maybe Godsmack a little bit. Or
Goddamn, you mean?
Goddamn, yeah, where it's almost this weird sort of.
It's just a riff, dude. It's the
and Lane sounds just fucking like gone on this song. Like he's not even emotionally attached to anything, right? Like I don't care, I don't know, who fucking cares, right? Great song.
These two tracks were my sweet spot in the album when I was first getting into it because this is the heaviest part of the album right here. And
November's Hotel is pretty fucking heavy, dude.
no, yeah, November, but it's more drawn out though, and it like if,
True. It's an instrumental too, which is
yeah,
7-minute instrumental, which is interesting.
So that one took a little longer.
Long Gone Days is the co-lead with Martin Lanigan. It's a weird song in a lot of ways, man. It just doesn't, and I love it because it's so wonky and strange and not what you would expect. And, it's got a cool chorus where there's a group sort of thing going on. And the part where Lane goes, "When it gone away," and what you did last summer. He throws the Jarl in there. That Jarl, that summer, and it's great. And long gone days, and then the best part of this song is the sax. The sax is awesome in this song. It's weird. It's almost like it doesn't belong, but it trips the song out and makes it kind of a. This is a song I can envision all these dudes sitting around a big campfire on the Seattle Sound in some isolated place, getting high on mushrooms and doing this song right here. You know what I mean? Long gone.
It's a different. This is the psychedelic vibe of the album right here. This
absolutely.
is, to me, it ties back into X-Ray Mind. It's a similar feel to this song, but this one does feel more realized, and I do think this is the better of the two tracks. And I don't know, Lanigan's voice on here is pretty good as well. So
all right, so because I got to get you out of here.
Yes, so the November Hotel.
Yeah, killer fucking jam track.
Amazing song.
I would say to me it's the heaviest track on here in a lot of ways.
Yes,
because it's just relentless. Barrett Martin's drumming, fucking amazing, man. Just this locomotive train coming at you, man. And then just Mike goes off, man. Mike plays probably his most tastiest guitar ever on this song.
Agreed.
Along with maybe Reach Down. It's like the Reach Down of this album in a lot of ways, without vocals in a lot of ways.
This song is like the full realization of what they can do as a rock band to me. Like the members, not Lane, but all of them together. And I think this is why they wanted to be a band full time. They didn't want this to be one
Well,
album.
They wanted to explore other avenues that they couldn't explore in their own band. Because none of this sounds like Alice, with the exception of
Lifeless Dead, or I don't know anything. Yeah.
And nothing really sounds like the Screaming Trees except for maybe Long Gone Days, which is kind of got a vibe of weird psych and strangeness. And then nothing really sounds like Pearl Jam except for maybe River Deceit. You could hear that as a possible Pearl Jam track, maybe, but not really. So they wanted to do something different that was just not in their wheelhouse of all the regular meat and potatoes stuff that they were doing, right? And then we get to Above, which is just such a beautiful track. And
I've had issues with this one a little bit.
Oh, no.
I know, just because it's such a hard shift.
Dude,
like,
it's
the whole
like
vibe changes. November Hotel is so dark,
but
so
to
heavy,
me,
so dirgy, and then it's just like it's shiny, it's shimmery.
To me, this is the track of Lane entering heaven, if that were a thing. This is how I look at
this song. Okay.
How I see it, how I hear it.
And it's another one where I get it as a closer. It makes sense, and I like it. I like
it.
It's just
I truthfully am not certain that closing with Wake Up might not be a better idea, but you then lose it as the most hard-hitting track to enter the album. So
I would never
maybe they should have ended
that.
Maybe they should have ended on November Hotel or Lifeless Dead or something a little heavier.
That's what I think, man. Yeah.
But I love Above, and as a result, I'm going to pull a mulligan, and we're going to play 3 tracks off this album. You can leave if you want, but we're going to before we go real quick, this is a 10 out. Well, it's a 9.7 out of 10.
That's mine. 9.75 is what I give this for me.
But yeah, it just fuck, man, just such an incredible album. And one, I'm so glad I got a chance to talk about with you because I understood what it meant to you. It meant the same thing to me. But I heard it much before. I heard it when it came out in '95. So it's so great to me that this music touches somebody your age who's, not quite half my age, but close. You're 30 now?
31, yeah.
You're 31. All right. So, I'll be 60 in March, which is kind of crazy to fucking fathom if I make it. Probably won't make it, but that's my optimistic slant on things. But to know that this album carries the weight with you that it carries with me is
it does, dude.
It's so amazing.
It does.
And anybody that is out there, I know this was reissued on vinyl, some limited vinyl.
I did want to comment on the extra tracks on that. I hadn't listened to them.
Yeah, we didn't talk about them real fast. Yeah,
until you mentioned, you should check them out.
So today was the first time I heard
Locomotive and the Black Book or whatever.
Black Book of Fear.
And I was really impressed, man. I'm bummed we never got that what could have been. I'm bummed we never got that what if,
I just have one caveat. They're great, but to me this album, like Temple of the Dog, owes so much to the vocals of Lane.
Yes.
That I don't know if I would have had I don't think I would have had the same affection for a Mark Lanegan album. And I love Mark Lanegan, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think I would have felt the same about the project as I do the way it is. In a strange sort of way, I'm very okay with Temple of the Dog and Mad Season being a one and done band, because
I agree.
There's something very special about these albums you may not have been able to catch again had you tried. Had Chris stayed alive and they decided to do some live shows again, cool, that's awesome. But had they done another album, they could have. All those guys could have done another Temple. Before Chris died, obviously. I don't think it would have been the same. I just don't think it would have been the same. And definitely, although I really respect Mark Lanegan and love his vocals in Screaming and like his contributions to this album, I don't think it would have been the same thing.
I agree with that. I think it just feels like lightning in a bottle. It feels special.
Nailed it.
Unique. And to try to make it anything other than that,
it was its own animal of the time.
It wouldn't cheapen it, but it would make it something different, and I don't want to play that game.
It would make it completely different for me. Absolutely. So 3 fucking epic albums. If I had to rank them,
please.
I'd put Temple right above Mad. You're going Mad.
You gave Temple the 10 out of 10 treatment.
I did. It's
awesome.
That special of an album to me. Cornell, 1A over Lane as vocalist of all time. Greatest vocalist of all time. Jeff Buckley's in there. There's a bunch of other guys I'd have to think about. John Oliva. I mean, there's too many for me to name right now. But these are, without question, 2 of my favorite albums of the era. And we never did touch on Soundgarden other than our dad episode, which we got into it pretty deep. But Soundgarden and Alice, 2 bands. We did do the Alice deep dive, which I'll link it in the description. I didn't think about doing that. That's a great one. Logan was not involved in the. Logan was still.
I was a lurker, I believe. Yeah,
he was probably a lurker.
I was
back
staying.
then.
I was definitely a lurker. But,
He didn't have the
balls.
Shall we call it foolishness to dive into this craziness, But that one's out there. We never did do the Soundgarden. Maybe if I stick around, and I don't know about that. I gotta talk about what, not now, but maybe tomorrow, maybe later tonight. I don't know. I gotta talk about what my thoughts are about the channel, where things are at, what I'm dealing with that nobody can see.
It's up to you if you want to make that a separate. If you want to make that a separate video. If not, I might jump when you start playing the clips. And then if you wanted to close it with that, it's up to you. But
I do want to close with this real quick, and then we'll do the songs.
Okay.
The stuff that is still in the can or ready to go. I've got a great interview with Kirk Winstein from the Crowbar show last Monday night, which I have not felt really well at all since, but I didn't get sick from it, like sick, which is good so far. Anyways, I didn't get like COVID or anything being around people, which is always a huge concern for me now. After what I went through with MDF and getting Epstein-Barr and all that stuff, and it's just fucking derailing me 1,000,000%. But I'm working on that. I got to edit some walk-bys where his wife walks in front of the camera and people talking in the back. I got to edit some of that. So I'm terrible at editing. If anyone wants to help me with an edit, let me know. I can send you the video and let you edit it. But if Rick or any of you guys want to do it, I know you don't want to do it. It's an hour-long interview. There's only about 4 or 5 places I want to edit stuff out, but I can't seem to figure it out. I'll work on it. That's going to hopefully come soon. Gentle Giant on Saturday with Eric Berg from Psychic Vacuum. We're going to get into Gentle Giant. Very weird band that not a lot of people are probably going to watch, but you should. Monday, 12 noon, I'm interviewing Hari, or I don't know how you pronounce his name. I better figure that out. From oh my God, Hooded Menace. We're going to talk about their new Killer album, which is definitely in the top 3 for my favorite albums of the year, along with Night and Marissa Nadler. Tried to get Marissa. She doesn't seem to want to talk to me anymore, so I guess that ain't going to happen. Don't know what happened there. It's kind of odd. I'm trying to get the Lay of the Heaven guys lined up, too. I think that's going to come September 3rd at 3 p.m. Steven Wilson returns. We're going to talk about the overview, and we're going to talk about the upcoming overview tour of America that starts in late September. I hope I'm physically able to go. I'm very concerned I will not be able to do that. We'll see. One other interview is Evoken. Vince and John from Evoken are coming in. Right now it's scheduled for the 6th, but Diva went and did something bad to me. They announced a show in Philadelphia that I would really love to go down and meet Rick for. It's a Saturday. And right now we're scheduled to do the Evoken interview at 8 o'clock on September 6th, Saturday. I may have to change it again with them. I hope the hell they're understanding. If you haven't heard the new Evoken, which you can't unless you're me or, well, right, me. I got it very early. I'm sure Marty's.
I don't know how you.
Well, I got it from their press people and from them. So,
okay.
I have certain ways of doing stuff like that. I'm going to tell you straight up, it is fucking mega killer, man. It's like Quietus and Hypnagogia mixed together. It's awesome.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for it.
So, anything coming up on your show, dude, on your channel?
Nothing actually on the channel. Just I'm doing the Heavy Metal RG album clubs every Wednesday night, so tune in for that. Next Wednesday we're doing a 2025 thrash album. I don't remember the name because it's like a current band, and we've been talking about classic thrash bands.
We just did the one on Forbidden Evil.
That album is awesome, by the way. Amazing. That was a 9 out of 10 for me. Mental Devastation is the name of the one coming out.
Probably my favorite thrash band is Forbidden, and I've got some ties to Craig and the new stuff. All right, I'm gonna be that guy again. I've heard 3 songs off the new album, man. Holy fucking shit! They released one, Divided by Zero, but the 2 songs they have not released yet are.
Here, Jeff, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. You keep talking. I was trying to.
Go ahead. We'll get started on the music, and then you can bolt. Want to thank Logan for hanging out till 11:30 tonight. He's got to get up for work. I don't. So that's the thing. There's another 1 or 2 guys. I'm trying to get the Lay the Heaven guys on to talk about their new album, Aurora, which is amazing. Analog Archives, Mr. Analog Archives. What's up, dude? I think that's it. I think that's it right now. Those are things that were in the works. I probably will do a separate stream about the state of the channel after this that people can watch later. I don't know that many people give a fuck. I do have some very good friends who have said to me, don't quit, don't leave. Not a lot. And that's the sad thing. Not a lot. Like if 100 people reached out to me and said, don't leave, dude, that kind of thing, I probably would feel a little less inclined. But what nobody understands except for Rick really understands what I'm going through, because unfortunately his common law wife, Van, passed away of a very similar disease to what I'm dealing with. And despite the asshole 1 or 2 people that come in and love to troll me about this disease that I'm not dying from, they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. And I'm struggling a lot. So we'll talk about that later after Logan leaves and we do these tracks. Dude, if you got to bolt, I understand, but I'll start with Lifeless Dead.
Yeah.
And then we'll do Wake Up, and Above I'll do last, because it kind of works that way.
I will be in the chat. I am going to jump off the stream, but I guess real quick, I wanted to say, man, thank you so much for having me on. Honestly, being able to do this was a highlight of just streaming recently. I love all three of these albums, and especially Above and Temple of the Dog. So yeah,
amazing album.
being able to talk
These are
with you about them, and like there's no other way we could have squeezed in conversations about these, and I think that's why this series that you're doing, I think it's important, because there's a lot of one-off albums and like just unique conversations that wouldn't happen if you're just sticking with deep dives or events and stuff.
Well, in this case, yeah, you're cutting out there, Logan. Are you there? I might have lost you. No, you're back. You're back.
My bad.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, just so we're clear that if the channel does sort of stay up and running in whatever capacity I can do, which is getting harder and harder, me being upright for over 3 hours right now, you have no idea. If I showed you my blood pressure, it would freak you the fuck out. But I'm broken from a central nervous system and an autonomic nervous system standpoint. And I think that unfortunately all of you guys that have been my
Yeah, I can't hear you currently. I still can hear you. Yeah, Jeff, you're mute, I believe, still. Dennis, can you hear me? Yeah.
How about now?
Hey, buddy. What's
here? I don't know what's going on with this fucking hookup I've got. Can you hear me still?
Yeah. Here we can call it, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. Anybody that thinks I'm faking this and anybody that thinks this isn't real or this is psychological or blah blah blah, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. None. I have been to numerous hospitals and they've diagnosed many different things in me, that all of which are comorbidities and dangerous things to deal with. If you were here in the room with me right now and I showed you my stomach, you'd be like, what in the fuck is that? If I showed you my blood pressure and my heart rate, you'd be like, how in the fuck have you not had a stroke? Or, Rick knows, Nick and John know, Jimmy know, they've been with me, they've seen me. Fan knows. These are people that they know what I'm dealing with, and even they don't even know the full scope of everything I'm dealing with. So the reality of it is that anybody thinks this is a joke or I'm faking or doing this for attention, fuck off, man. Just fuck the fuck off and die. I don't care. I never got into this for money. I never got into this for clout, to be the biggest channel. I came into this to share my knowledge and my love for these albums and these artists. That's all it's about for me, man. That's it. And along the way, I've gained some really killer friends that have had my fucking back, thankfully. Guys like Logan and Rick and Dennis and people like Marty and these are good people, man, that know that I'm hurting and know that I'm struggling, and they feel bad. They don't know what to say and they don't know what to do when I hit them up with emails where I'm just breaking apart inside psychologically and emotionally. They don't know, but they don't know what to say. And I get it. It's tough hearing doom and gloom and hearing a guy talk about dying all the time. It sucks. Imagine being me for a minute. And I've gotten 60 years, So anyway, Logan, thank you so much, man. Anything going on in your channel other than the heavy metallurgy stuff?
For now, just the metallurgy stuff, but it's enough. I'll try to do something. I got to be more productive on it, but
Yeah, you
it's
do
it's
fine,
just it's a
man.
lot of fun just going on other people's channels and having
Dude, you
these
do
kind of
fine.
conversations. You know, like that's
You got
the
a
joy
young
of
wife.
it, dude.
You got a new wife. You got a good job. You got a house. This isn't your life. You know what I
No.
mean? And that's don't make it your life, because some people that do that, they either don't have to work and they're lucky enough to be getting money from elsewhere, or they're like me. They're sick and they're collecting SSD, which I wish I wasn't doing, but I have no other alternative. Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off. I'll be in the chat, and I'm
Yep.
excited to hear these songs for
We're gonna
sure.
play these songs right now.
Let's dive in, man.
And,
Cheers, Jeff. Thank you, bud.
Thank you, buddy.
See ya.
Thanks, buddy. See ya. All right. So we're gonna do these songs off of Mad Season. I appreciate all the people that hung out. Really appreciate it. And Metal Kev, thank you. And yeah, I know I cut out. There's something weird with this fucking microphone when I have the new ring light plugged in, because usually I don't use light. I'm in the dark to cover up how sickly I look or all that stuff. But anyway, all right. So we're gonna get into these tracks. We're gonna play 3 tracks off of Mad Season. First track's gonna be Lifeless Dead. Then we're gonna do Wake Up, and then we're gonna do Above. All right. Here we go. And I need to switch my audio off.
bleed. And beg for a little peace from God you pray. Wake up, young man. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up, young man, it's time to wake up. Your love affair has got to go, yeah. For 10 long years. For 10 long years, the leaves to rake up. Slow suicide's no way to go. Slow suicide's no way to go. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
"15 seconds to save thousands on your mini split with HVACdirect.com. Our nationwide network ships hundreds of systems every day. Sound too good to be true? Check out over 25,000 reviews. Find it online, get savings, and fast shipping. It really is that easy with HVACdirect.com.
Did you experience inappropriate church in California, Oregon?
Lifeless dead, that unclean bed.
Colonel believed his KFC chicken sandwich should be huge on flavor. Tender chicken, crisp pickles.
All right. There we go. I didn't realize how much of above is actually it's basically just two chords. It's which is essentially it's kind of Thank You by Led Zeppelin. Anyways, that's it just dawned on me when I was fucking around here that it's like, wow, that's actually that song. So that's the end of this episode here, episode 2 of this series, 3 of an Imperfect Pair. And Rick and I were kicking around ideas for a third one. He had thrown some albums at me. I believe we came up with 2 that we agreed on that were kind of in this thematic vein. Rick always overthinks things, though, so he'll probably throw something at me that I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, it's his choice. So if we do another one, Rick will probably be the next guest that I have on to do this. Yeah, so I ran down all the things that are going on that are still in the works. I'm reluctant to plan a lot of other stuff because I can't impress upon people just how miserably sick I've been ever since the end of May, early June, when I got Epstein-Barr virus, and it lit my nervous system on fire, literally. And I've had a lot of shitty, fucking terrible luck. My car was demolished. It's drivable. I can still get around locally, but it's very scary. I'm looking into what I want to do there, whether I want to get it fixed, whether it's even worth it, if I don't think I'm going to be around that long. And I really don't. My doctors don't know what to make of this. They don't know where to send me. They don't know what to do. They know I've got many different issues, all of which are very not good. So we'll talk about that in a second thing. I might just go live very quickly after this just to kind of explain what's going on with the channel, where my thoughts are, where my head's at. Because I have had a handful of people, 10, 12 people say, don't do this, don't quit. And of course, I always have great fun when I meet up with people like Logan or Rick or, Jimmy or whatever. Because Jimmy and I were talking about doing Moon Sorrow, the whole Moon Sorrow catalog. And I'd love to do it. I just don't know where my stamina and energy is going to come from. Some days are so horrible. It's just the pain in my body systemically is it's indescribable. So we'll do that here separately, even though I know it's 1 o'clock and nobody's probably going to even watch it. Nobody really, ultimately, only a few handful of people really give a fuck. And those people that showed up tonight, you're the people that care. And to a large extent, you're the people that I continue to do this for. But my channel's not really growing that much because I don't have a regular schedule, and it's kind of hard to do that. And my stuff is long and lengthy and involved, and nobody has the attention span for that shit anymore, except for me, maybe. I watch a lot of long-form podcasts and long-form stuff, and I enjoy that shit a lot, but that doesn't mean a lot of other people do. So, and then, you got the occasional troll that likes to pop in and be a cunt and talk about shit that they don't have any concept of what they're talking about. Right now, I don't flip out like I used to. I just go over and I delete them off of YouTube, and I delete them off the restream thing. But the problem is this particular guy that seems to like doing this, I've already shut him out like of 3 different names. So he'll just keep commenting, dropping a comment to be a dick. And, again, William, I know it's you. We all know it's you. Those of us that know who you are. You're a stupid cunt, and I don't fucking care whether you live or die. I just don't. So there you go. That ties things up in a nice bow there at the end. Those of you that hung out all night tonight, I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Saturday, we're doing the Gentle Giant thing at 10 o'clock at night. I have a lot of albums to get through yet. Ugh. Friday, Saturday, I've got a lot of albums to do tonight, tomorrow, and the next day. But I'll get them done. I can do it. I know some of the material fairly well. And we'll do this quick little, state of the nation, state of the channel sort of address here in a minute. Set up on the spur of the moment. And again, big thanks to Logan. Just awesome. It was great to talk to somebody that really appreciates those albums like I do. And, all you guys that came in there and watched it, clearly you appreciated or wanted to learn more about them or watch the train wreck. I don't know. Maybe, we didn't train wreck it too bad. But it's kind of... So there you go. That's the end of this one. Long one. Again, 3.5 hours. They always are. It's crazy that Logan and I could talk about those albums for 3.5 hours. And I know I talk a lot. And what do you want, man? If you're not paying for it, I don't really care what you think. Okay. And I don't get a lot of donations and I don't get a lot of people contributing, which I don't ask for. I didn't even talk about. We don't talk about. I never bring up the T-shirts that, I bought a lot of and gave away most of, and to my good buddies, and either cut them price breaks, or some of them wouldn't take the price break. They insisted on paying me the full price, which I really appreciate. But I'd love to do another run of those. Marty did those, and it'd be nice to do that again. But I just don't see it right now. I don't have enough people interested, so I can't foot the bill for all that stuff. And I might add that I forgot I had chicken in the oven at 400 degrees. I walked out. I'm like, what the fuck? Something's burning. And I went over the chicken breasts, which were this big, now are this big. So it looks like I'm not eating chicken for dinner, the other white meat. But there you go. So, So everybody, thanks for being here. Whether there's another one or not, I just don't know. I said I was done because I was preparing to die, and I am kind of doing that. I'm getting my dad into a home. We'll talk about that on the next thing. So everybody, thanks for being here tonight. And if you want to tune in for the after show, me talking about the state of the channel, I don't have to do it during the middle of the day. People can catch it whenever they want. But we'll do that as a live stream too, and you can pop on there. So peace out. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, man. I want to be as verbose as I want to be because I do keep the conversations going. I do. And even all my friends that have been on stuff with me would admit that, a lot of the times, if it wasn't for me, I probably kept the Saturday Slate crew going too. Some people have dipped out because they don't want to be involved anymore. That's cool. But I never do this shit maliciously. I don't do the talk over people. I get excited, man. I get excited about this stuff. And sometimes it's very hard with ADHD and my illness that kind of is really affecting my ADHD. It gets hard for me not to be excited and go, I got to say this before I lose it, because I do lose it. There's a lot of there you go. A little bit of Alice there. It's all right. See you guys.